Chapter 1. C1 becomes stronger when facing a strong opponent. Eastern Region, Xuantian Sect. An old man with white hair reaching his waist and wearing a black robe was leaning on a cane. He looked at the weathered face reflected on the lake in disbelief and cursed. Fuck, Yi Junlin never dreamed that he just slept secretly in class, and when he woke up, he found that he had traveled through time. Looking at the wrinkled old face on the lake, Yi Junlin was so angry that his whole body was trembling, and his eyes were red and he shouted sadly. Is there any justice for riding on a horse? Others who traveled through time were young talents from aristocratic families, or were the holy sons of a holy land, or were earth-shatteringly handsome, or at least average-looking. As a result, he turned out to be a stinky old man with no energy. Through memory, I learned that this world is called Kunlun Realm, where practitioners are respected. Flying with swords, moving mountains and filling seas is not a problem. The original owner of this body is the master of Xuantian Sect Piaomiao Peak, one of the 6 major sects in Guangzhou in the eastern region. He is highly respected in the sect, and he used to be extremely talented. He cultivated to the golden elixir stage at a young age. Later, during an operation to suppress evil cultivators, his elixir field was attacked and destroyed. As a result, he lost all his cultivation and became a useless person. In the following decades, he became confused, passive and decadent, staying on the mountain without paying attention to worldly affairs. Seeing the former most potential peak master going into isolation, all the senior officials of Xuantian Sect felt very sorry, but they were at a loss what to do. In other words, I am an ordinary person now, based on my previous years. Suddenly, Yi Junlin thought of something, and a huge panic emerged in his heart. You must know that this body is already 110 years old. The reason why it can survive until now is because when I was a monk, I took various life-prolonging elixirs. But even so, according to the lifespan of a mortal, he is already on the verge of death and is about to burp. No way, I just traveled through time and am about to say goodbye to this world forever. Wait a minute, I still have a chance. Usually cheats arrive at this time. With years of experience in writing online articles, Yi Junlin gradually calmed down. He hit the ground heavily with his crutches and shouted into the air with a proud face. System, your father is here, why don't you come out and see him quickly? There was no response from all around. You're playing hide and seek with me, right? Come on, stop making trouble. Quiet as a chicken. Brother Tongzi, I was wrong. I was joking just now. You might as well just say something. System's biological father, Uncle System, silence, deathly silence. I understand, it's not System Flow. Yi Junlin changed his mind, frowned and groped all over his body, only to find an old ring. Then with an anxious mood, he moved his face closer and lowered his voice and asked. Master, are you inside? The ring didn't respond. Old guy, stop pretending, I know you're hiding inside. Ring, does it require blood to be effective? Yi Junlin bit his finger and dripped blood on the ring. He waited nervously for 10 seconds and found that there was still no change. Gone. Goldfinger has nothing, so traveling through time will be useless. With such an old body and bones, he would probably die if he took a fall. The more Yi Junlin thought about it, the angrier he became. He held his crutch and pointed it at the sky, cursing. Oh my god, fuck %# and *%#. 2 minutes later. Ding, it has been detected that the host's curse words are too dirty, so this system has to be activated passively. Please stop scolding the host and be a civilized person. Close black lens bracket. A mechanical system prompt sounded in my ears. Yi Junlin was stunned, holding his chest in excitement, and almost died of a heart attack on the spot. Tongzi, you are not kind, you just showed up now. I almost suspect that this book was published by a mortal. Ding, I'm sorry, I slept a little too hard before, and this system just woke up. Close black lens bracket. Let me go, this is too unreliable, isn't it? Is this how you treat time travelers? Ding, host please be careful with your words, this system is very professional. Close black lens bracket. Okay, let's change the voice first. The voice of your system is as emotionless as a robot. Since you say you are professional, then change it to a Lolita voice. The system is loading new voice packs. Ding, the lowly sound modification is completed, is the host still satisfied? Close black lens bracket. In the next second, the system changed from a mechanical and cold voice to a soft and cute voice. Hey, are you serious? You are so generous, but you are not allowed to change it without my permission. Ding, okay, in order to better compensate the host, the system will reward the novice with a gift package. Do you want to open it? Close black lens bracket. Tear it down for me. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining special abilities, you will become stronger when you encounter strong ones. Close black lens bracket. Tongzi, be specific, Yi Junlin asked curiously. Ding, as long as the host faces any enemy who is stronger than itself, he can permanently gain a higher level of cultivation than the enemy on the spot. And there are no side effects. Close black lens bracket. Fuck, Yi Junlin was startled and asked tentatively, really or not, for example, if I am an ordinary person now, if I face the way of heaven. Ding, this system is a no-brainer, just try it, I guarantee there will be no problem. Close black lens bracket. The system's Lolita tone rang in my ears. Should you die if you don't try? Yi Junlin muttered to himself. If the system had this ability, wouldn't it just take off? Just go and bump into those awesome practitioners, and then get a higher level of cultivation than him. Cultivation, what the hell is that? Ding, this system is a warm reminder. It detects the host's current physical condition. There is only 1 hour left before the end of life. Closing square bracket. No way, it's going to happen. What should I do? Wait, I can find someone to fight with, so that I can get a higher level than him, and my lifespan can be extended accordingly. Having made up his mind, Yi Junlin leaned on his crutches and took a hard step, and was about to go down the mountain to find someone to bump into. However, this body was about to expire, and he felt more and more powerless. He was exhausted after walking for a while. Looking at the long way to the bottom of the mountain, Yi Junlin's face fell and he complained. Good guy, why do you stay on the mountain? Now I am implicated by you. Ding ding ding. Just then, there was a rapid ringing of the bell from the sect. The entire Xuantian sect was shaken, because this meant that an enemy was attacking. Rumble. The sky was covered with dark clouds, and a large number of birds were approaching. The terrifying demonic energy swept like a storm. What's going on? Yi Junlin's scalp was numb. In the sect, dozens of bright halos rose, forming a formation that burst out terrible energy fluctuations. Disciples and elders came out one after another, holding magic weapons and waiting in full battle array. What a courage! Which demon dares to cause trouble for my Xuantian sect? The mellow voice echoed in all directions with anger. Sect Master Shu Union flashed and appeared in the air, followed by a group of powerful peak masters. You bastards of the Xuantian sect, I didn't expect that this demon king is still alive, today I will definitely kill all of you. The Qingpeng demon king, who was in the lead, said with resentment. So it's you, this evil beast. Sect Master Shu Union narrowed his eyes slightly. 10 years ago, the Qingpeng clan slaughtered a small country in Guangzhou. The small country had no choice but to ask Xuantian sect for help. He personally led his men to rescue them. I remember that the Qingpeng demon king who was the leader fell off a cliff after being severely injured by me and his life or death was unknown. Unexpectedly, after many years, he made a comeback again. The humiliation at that time is still vivid in my mind. Today I am here to take revenge and wash your Xuantian sect with blood. The Qingpeng demon king grinned. Humph, you dare to speak so arrogantly, just relying on the group of beasts you brought. Shu Union said disdainfully with his hair flying. Haha, it's based on this. With a bang, the Qingpeng demon king's aura was like a flood, and the power of the nascent soul level was like a tidal wave. What, you actually broke through? Shu Union's face changed drastically. He is still stuck at the golden core perfection, and has not shown any signs of breakthrough for many years. I didn't expect that this evil beast would turn a disaster into a blessing and enter the nascent soul realm first. After all, for a small state in the East region, a nascent soul level strongman is enough to look down on the crowd. Master, what should we do? The 7 peak masters said solemnly. At this point, we can only fight. Shu Union gritted his teeth. Little ones, come on. Kill all these stinky Taoists. The Green Peng demon king flapped his wings, as if a green comet fell from the sky, exuding a breath of destruction. Yes, my king. A group of green demon birds attacked, some opened their mouths to spit out rays of light, and some leaned over to attack. Defend Xuantian sect to the death. Shu Union roared and led all the cultivators to resist. On the Piaomiao peak, Yi Junlin stared at all this in a daze. Suddenly, he reacted and waved his cane and shouted anxiously. Hey, come here, hit me. Hit me quickly, what a pity. Everyone was busy fighting, and Yi Junlin's voice was naturally drowned out by the shouts of killing. Ding, the system reminds you warmly that the host currently has 20 minutes of life left. Please take remedial measures as soon as possible. Closing square bracket. No way, you are in such a hurry to reincarnate. Yi Junlin was so angry that he threw his cane on the ground. He didn't expect time to pass so quickly. Is his immortal cultivation career going to end before it even begins? Warm tips. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 2. C2 shocked the whole sect. In the sky, there were endless rumbling explosions, and powerful spells intertwined in the sky, blooming with colorful lights. The bodies of demon birds fell one after another, and the shrill cries echoed in the valley. Kill. Many disciples and elders fought hard. Some of them pinched their fingers to cast spells, and some controlled flying swords to cut. Their eyes were full of determination, and they were determined to live and die with the sect. In the air, the sect master Shu Union and the 7 Jindan stage peak masters were fighting against the Qingpeng Demon King with all their strength. Rumble. The energy fluctuations released by their fight formed a hurricane, which swept up rows of trees below and flew up and exploded. The scene was extremely chaotic, as if a natural disaster had come. The Green Peng Demon King sneered. Too weak. If this is all your strength, then I can only say that it's not painful. Evil beast, stop being so arrogant. Shu Union shouted, and between his hands, countless blue lightnings tore through the void, roaring and attacking like an angry dragon. Kill. The other peak masters roared, each performing their strongest spells. In an instant, the scene was horrible, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Interesting, I will let you see how powerful the nascent soul stage is. The Green Peng Demon King's eyes were fierce, and he vibrated his wings that covered the sky and the sun. His aura rose at an astonishing speed, and he opened his mouth and sprayed out a huge destructive beam of light. Boom! The surging light ball was dazzling, as if the sun rose from the ground. When the terrible aftermath gradually dissipated, several embarrassed figures fell down, and a bang stirred up dust all over the sky. Ahem! Shu Union and several peak masters had blood on their mouths. They stood up with difficulty, their eyes full of grief and anger. There was no way. The gap between the Jindan stage and the Yuanying stage was too big. Ha ha ha, who else wants to resist? Obediently die. Qingpeng Demon King laughed triumphantly. No, seeing that the strongest people of Xuantian sect were easily defeated by Qingpeng Demon King, countless disciples and elders showed despair. The atmosphere was extremely depressing, and death enveloped the entire sect. Suddenly, an inappropriate old voice sounded, and the tone was full of frivolousness that did not match his age. Hey, that big stupid bird. Look here, don't look around, I'm talking about you. Huh, Qingpeng Demon King was stunned. He looked at the source of the voice and found that on the mountain surrounded by clouds not far away, there stood an old man in a black robe with a cane, holding a loudspeaker in his hand, shouting at him crazily. Damn human, how dare you insult me? The Qingpeng Demon King couldn't believe it. It could see that the other party had no cultivation and his blood was declining, and he was the kind of person who was about to die. Yi junior brother. Shu Union and the 7 peak masters were dumbfounded. They never expected that the peak master of Piaomiao Peak, who had been living in seclusion for many years and didn't care about worldly affairs, would appear at this critical moment. At this time, Yi Junlin waved his crutches and held a loudspeaker in his hand, shouting arrogantly, "Big stupid bird, come and hit me if you are unhappy. I'm waiting here." Suffering from not having time to go down the mountain and no one cared about him, Yi Junlin, who was racing against time, had an idea and went back to the cave where his original body lived, and finally found this special loudspeaker. No need to cultivate to activate it, as long as the spirit stone is installed, the sound can be amplified 10,000 times. His purpose is very simple, just to get beaten. At this critical moment, someone suddenly yelled at the Green Peng Demon King in public, and both sides who were still fighting could not help but stop. Countless astonished eyes gathered and looked at the white-haired old man with a fragrant mouth. Oh my god, is it the former legend of Piaomiao Peak? I know him, the youngest Jindan cultivator in the history of Xuantian sect, but later his cultivation was abolished because of a war, and there was no news of him again. Compared with the rumors, Master Yifeng seems a little irritable. Surprised discussions were everywhere. The Green Peng Demon King was so angry that he was fuming, and the pressure of the nascent soul level released from his body twisted the surrounding void, and his eyes almost spit out anger. I have never seen such an arrogant person in my life. Hey, you saw him today. Yi Junlin raised his chin and put on a posture that asked for a beating. However, beads of sweat overflowed from his forehead, his old body became weaker and weaker, and there were more and more double images in front of his eyes. Ding, the system reminds you that the host has 10 seconds left before he dies on the spot. Start the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7. Fuck, why doesn't this stupid bird hit me? Help. Yi Junlin was wailing in his heart, thinking that he was going to see his grandmother. Arrogant, I will turn you into ashes now. Rage overcame reason, and the Qingpeng Demon King decided to do his best to wipe out the tiny human from this world. Boom, it opened its mouth and ejected a terrifying energy beam, which cut through the sky with a destructive breath. This was a full-strength attack from a Yuanying-level monster, and all the cultivators present could not stop it. Junior brother Yi, Shu Yunian and the others were heartbroken. Unexpectedly, the most courageous person who died in Xuantian sect was still the Tianzhao who broke the Jindan record that year. Good guy, it's finally here. Facing the terrifying attack of the Yuanying-level Demon King, Yi Junlin was not afraid, but an excited smile appeared on his face. Ding, the host is detected to be attacked by an enemy in the early stage of the nascent soul realm. Now the passive effect of getting stronger when facing a strong enemy is triggered, and the cultivation of the middle stage of the nascent soul realm is obtained. Closing square bracket. The next second, the powerful cultivation energy burst out from the body, and the old body, which was originally gloomy, bloomed with vigorous vitality again. The age spots on the skin disappeared, the skin became fair and delicate, and the old face changed rapidly, and the appearance was fixed in the appearance of a young man. The sword eyebrows flew into the temples, the eyes were deep like stars, and the face was handsome. The strange thing is that the waist-length white hair did not transform into the normal black color, but became more and more silvery and shiny, like a bright galaxy hanging. Is this the nascent soul stage? Yi Junlin felt the terrifying energy in his body, and his face was surprised and happy. Ding, of course, this system is professional. Closing square bracket. The soft and sticky lowly voice sounded in his ears, enough to make countless otakus feel itchy. Boom, the destructive beam of light suddenly turned, as if it was knocked away by a more powerful energy, and rushed to the sky and exploded. The terrible pressure spread like a tide, making the scalps of the people present almost burst, and they were trembling with fear. The anger of the Qingpeng Demon King seemed to be extinguished by ice water, and his eyes showed surprise. You are also in the nascent soul realm. It had never expected that there would be a nascent soul realm cultivator here. And his cultivation seemed to be deeper than its. In countless shocked eyes, Yi Junlin was wearing a black robe, with his hands behind his back and slowly rising, his silver white hair dancing wantonly, with a terrifying divine light shining in his eyes, and his whole body was filled with the momentum of suppressing everything. How is this possible? Junior brother Yi is actually a nascent soul realm expert. Shu Yunian and the others were stunned as if struck by lightning, and their expressions were extremely wonderful. What a joke! On the surface, he lost all his cultivation and became an ordinary mortal, but in fact, he had already quietly broken through to the nascent soul realm. It turns out that all these years of self-abandonment were actually a cover-up. Junior brother Yi, you are actually a sixth-rate person. Am I seeing right? The head of Piao Miao Peak is actually a nascent soul realm cultivator. That's the nascent soul realm, there are not many in the entire wasteland state. As a result, our Xuantian sect also has one. My Xuantian sect is so great. You bunch of monsters are finished. When seeing Yi Junlin's nascent soul realm cultivation, the whole sect was ecstatic and cheered. You know, there are realms for practitioners, namely Qi training, foundation building, golden elixir, nascent soul, transformation, fusion, Mahayana, tribulation, and true immortal. Among the 14 states in the eastern region, Wasteland State is at the bottom, and a nascent soul realm cultivator is enough to dominate the world. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining cultivation for the first time, the system randomly rewards a magical power, Great Wild Prison Heaven Finger. Closing square bracket. Yi Junlin was stunned, this system is quite good. Boom, suddenly, overwhelming information exploded in his mind, and Yi Junlin mastered this terrible move invisibly. My fellow Taoist, everything that happened just now was just a misunderstanding. I have decided to make peace with your clan and visit you when I have time in the future. Little ones, retreat. Qingpeng Monster King thought again and again, and took the initiative to surrender and retreat. Hey, since you are here, don't even think about leaving. Yi Junlin said lightly. Hearing this, Qingpeng Monster King's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Your cultivation is a little deeper than mine, but the gap is not big. Are you sure you want to fight to the death? Although it is the early stage of Yuanying and Yi Junlin is the middle stage of Yuanying, Qingpeng Monster King feels that with his physical talent, he may be able to make up for the disadvantage in cultivation. If a fight really breaks out, it's still unclear who will win. Therefore, the Green Pung Demon King felt that he had given enough face to the other party by giving involuntarily. You are so self-righteous, you are really a big fool. Yi Junlin shook his head and sneered. Human, you forced me to do this. Being humiliated one after another, the Green Pung Demon King's anger was completely ignited. It flapped its wings and mobilized its whole body's magic power. Its whole body's momentum became violent. It was burning the demon pill in its body and was ready to fight to the death. Not good. Shu Union and the others became nervous. If Yi Junlin had any accident, it would be the biggest loss to Xuantian sect. At the critical moment, Yi Junlin's face did not change, his long silver-white hair was flying in disorder, and he slowly raised his hands and held them above his head. Boom! In an instant, the sky and the earth changed color, and the wind swept away the remaining clouds. A terrifying sense of oppression came from the depths of the sky. A giant finger like a pillar supporting the sky, covered with ancient patterns, pressed down with the power of destruction. At the same time, a cold voice with a sense of majesty seemed to ring in the depths of everyone's heart. Great Wilderness Prisoner Sky Finger. Chapter 3. C3 Sign in Rewards. Moment. The terrifying murderous intention was firmly locked on the Qingpeng Demon King, so frightened that its scalp almost exploded, and unprecedented fear arose spontaneously. This is. The Qingpeng Demon King's mind went blank, and he watched with horror as the giant finger continued to expand, and the surrounding space froze, making it difficult to move. Boom! The earth trembled and smoke filled the sky. In the sunken pit lay a huge dead bird covered in blood. The king is dead, everyone run away. Seeing the death of their leader, all Qingpeng were frightened and evacuated quickly, trying their best to escape from this place of right and wrong. Kill, leave no one behind. Shu Union recovered from the shock and shouted excitedly. Yes, the morale of the disciples and elders soared and they began a full-scale counterattack. It didn't take long, all the demon birds that broke into Xuantian's sect were killed. As the savior of the sect, Yi Junlin naturally attracted great attention in the sect. Just the method he just revealed made countless people look at him with admiration in their eyes. Junior brother Yi, it's really thanks to you this time. The sect leader Shu Union said with emotion on his face and cupped his hands. Before, we thought that your cultivation would be abolished and you would never recover. Unexpectedly, secretly, you have already broken through the nascent soul. You. The master of Hidden Sword Peak is an unshaven middle-aged man, with a complicated face and a bitter smile. You idiot, what do you know? That's because junior brother Yi is relatively low-key, so he doesn't make any public announcements and silently protects the sect. The master of Tianxiang Peak covered his mouth and chuckled, his plump body exuding a mature charm. He looked at the handsome face of the silver-haired young man with a hint of admiration in his eyes. Junior brother Yi is really as charming as ever. It turns out that our situation is too small. The other peak masters nodded. Good guys, they are all very clever. Yi Junlin muttered in his heart. But since you think so, it saves you the trouble of explaining. Report to the sect master. Something bad has happened. At this time, an elder's cry came out. Shu Union's face changed slightly. What's the matter? Tell me. Just now, Fengli sect suddenly launched an attack and invaded the spiritual minds and spiritual veins belonging to our sect. The disciples in charge of the garrison resisted desperately, and almost the entire army was wiped out. Boom, the words just fell. Everyone was furious. Yi Junlin frowned and learned from his memory that Fengli sect was one of the 6 major sects in Guangzhou and the closest sect to Xuantian sect. There were some conflicts before, but they were all under control. It's just that this time Fengli sect launched a large-scale attack, and it happened to be at this point in time. It was obvious that they were taking advantage of the demon clan's power to sneak in. His heart can be killed. Ding, to trigger the sign-in task, please complete the sign-in at Fengli sect. The host will receive unimaginable rewards. Close black lens bracket. The sweet lowly prompt sounds. Yi Junlin was a little curious. It seemed that he was going to make a trip out of love and reason. Hateful. Fengli sect has gone too far to bully others, please follow me to take back the resource land. Shu Union said angrily. Then, he looked at Yi Junlin and said tentatively, I don't know what junior brother Yi wants. In the world of cultivation, the strong are respected. Now in the entire Xuantian sect, Yi Junlin has the highest cultivation level. Even though he is the leader of a sect, he still has to ask for the other party's opinions when necessary. Well, you do your thing, and I'll go into Fengli sect first. Yi Junlin waved his hand. Now he is stronger when he encounters strong ones, and with the help of top-notch skills, he naturally has the strength to say this. What's more, Fengli Zong happened to hit the muzzle of the gun at this time, so he could use it for surgery. Okay, junior brother Yi is so damn domineering. Shu Yunian was startled at first and gave a thumbs up excitedly. Everyone was very excited. How many years had Xuantian sect not been so strong? This time it is bound to make a name for itself. Subsequently, the warships all over the sky were assembled and launched an attack towards their destination. The scale is huge and the morale of everyone is high. Even the dogs passing by were slapped. At this time, occupied major resource areas. The remaining monks of the Xuantian sect were covered in blood and dressed in rags, and were imprisoned in cages like beggars. Their faces were disgraced and their eyes were bloodshot, showing resentment. Around him, monks wearing blue clothes passed by from time to time, occasionally casting contemptuous and sarcastic glances. Senior brother, I never thought that this spiritual vein would belong to our Fengli sect from now on. Among them, a young man with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks laughed. HMPH, not only this spiritual vein, but all Xuantian sect's resources will belong to our sect from now on. The tall man looked proud. Bah, you're just talking nonsense, just wait, Xuantian sect will organize a team to retake this place soon. In the cage, the injured disciple said angrily. Ha 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 ha. The tall man raised his head and laughed wildly, his laughter full of strong sarcasm. Hey, what are you laughing at? I laugh at you for being ignorant and stupid. Facing the question from the Xuantian sect monk, the tall man stepped forward and said with a strange smile. You don't know yet, your sect is in danger. Just now, the Qingpeng Demon King led his tribe to attack Xuantian sect, and its realm has exceeded nascent soul. What do you think the Xuantian sect, which ranks at the bottom of the 6 major sects, has a chance of winning against a nascent soul level powerhouse? What? The Xuantian sect monk was shocked and looked sad. No wonder Fengli sect would take this opportunity to invade the sect's territory. Huh, if you say so, when that beast destroys our Xuantian sect, will it let your Fengli sect go with its appetite? Don't forget that your Fengli sect is closest to our Xuantian sect. Some disciples said bitterly, if you want to be alone, just dream. The strange thing is, the tall man was not annoyed after hearing this, but instead smiled and said. Thanks to the love of God, I, the young master of Fengli sect, became a disciple of Yuha sect in Qingzhou many years ago. Because of my outstanding talent and successful cultivation, I attracted great attention from Yuha sect. Just today, an elder from the Yuha sect paid a special visit to our Fengling sect. With his strength, it was easy to kill the Qingpeng Demon King. Qingzhou, Feather Gate, the Xuantian sect monk's heart was beating wildly. There are a total of 14 states in the eastern region, and each state is extremely vast, with large and small countries and families. If Guangzhou is a remote place, then Qingzhou is the supreme treasure of the eastern region. As for the Yuha sect, it is the top sect with the most famous name in Qingzhou. A nascent soul monk who can establish a sect in Guangzhou can only be a disciple there. If this is the case, then Fengli sect has a backer. The Qingpeng Demon King is really nothing. It's over, everything is over. The information revealed by these words completely destroyed the faith of the Xuantian sect monks. They were all lost and muttering dejectedly to themselves. Haha, how dare you say something harsh to these destitute dogs? From now on, you will be responsible for mining spiritual veins here, and you will work as a horse for our Fengli sect for the rest of your life. The tall man sneered. Teacher, senior brother, look at that. Some disciples stretched out their fingers and shouted in horror. Boom, not far away, several huge warships came over, shouts of killing came from far away, and the fighting spirit was high. Xuantian sect disciples obey the order and kill all outsiders. As powerful figures soared into the air, terrifying pressure enveloped all directions. How is it possible? There is actually a strong man in the golden core stage personally leading the team. Didn't Xuantian sect already? In an instant, wails, screams, and cries resounded throughout the occupied resource areas. Fengli sect. In the antique hall, the leader of the sect, Chen Yunhai, and a group of core senior officials were receiving this important person from afar. Mr. Mu, I heard that my son Chen Xiao has performed extremely well in the Yuha sect and has been accepted as a true disciple by a certain venerable. Is this true? Chen Yunhai said cautiously. Mu Lao smoothed his goatee and said with a kind smile, Sect Master Chen, this is of course true. Your young master has been valued by Venerable Zhu Yong and has taught you the supreme Taoism. I think I will come back to Fengli sect to visit you someday. Suddenly, the whole place was in an uproar. Chen Yunhai's face turned red with excitement. That is a venerable person. Only by reaching the Mahayana realm can one have this honor and bear this title. His son Chen Xiao was actually accepted as a disciple by a strong man in the Mahayana realm. Sect Master, what a joy to congratulate you. A group of sect leaders said flatteringly. Chen Yunhai stroked his goatee and said proudly, my son Chen Xiao has the appearance of becoming an immortal. Seeing everyone's excitement, Mu Lao smiled like a spring breeze, with a trace of disgust flashing in his eyes. If it weren't for Chen Xiao's high status in the sect and for the sake of Venerable Zhu Yong, he would not have come to this poor spiritual place. Ahem, this is a high-quality infant transformation pill. Your young master entrusted me to give it to Sect Master Chen. Hua Ying Dan. Sect leader Chen opened the box excitedly, and the round and spiritual elixir appeared shining brightly in front of his eyes. Congratulations, Sect Master, with the help of this elixir, you will definitely break through and become a nascent soul monk. The elders stood up and congratulated. Ha ha ha, my son is interested. Chen Yunhai's face glowed red. See this. Mu Lao's inner disdain was even greater. It's just nascent soul, so happy like this. As expected of a country boy. Thoughts turn. He cupped his hands with a smile on his face and said, I would like to congratulate Sect Master Chen in advance on his breakthrough. If nothing happens, I will say goodbye first. Wait, Chen Yunhai said shamelessly, as for that beast. I will solve it easily. Mu Lao said calmly. It was his words that revealed the realm of Qingpeng Demon King, which made Chen Yunhai ambitiously dispatch a team to seize the Xuantian sect's resources. That's good. Chen Yunhai was all smiles. Boom. Suddenly, a black-robed figure broke through numerous formation obstacles and descended alone into Fengli sect, instantly causing a huge sensation. Yi Junline's long silver-white hair was flying, and he ignored the frightened disciples and elders around him, with a playful smile on his lips. Is this the Fengli sect? At this time, a sweet lowly sound came into my mind. Ding, we have arrived at the sign in location Fengli sect. Do you want to sign in? Close black lens bracket. Sign in, Yi Junline said silently. He really wanted to see what good thing it would be. Ding, the sign in is successful, congratulations to the host for getting. Chapter 4, C4 cultivation level has risen again. Experience packs delivered to your door. Ding, the sign in is successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the seal of the Human King and the Great Void Technique. Close black lens bracket. Yi Junline's eyes lit up and he was overjoyed. After all, in the fight between practitioners, strength is the decisive factor, because it is not ruled out that there are a very small number of monsters who can fight across levels. Before he becomes a being that transcends heaven, he still has to rely on his own strength if he wants to remain invincible. Therefore, the sign-in rewards this time came in time, and they are all top-notch magical powers, which can be said to be even more powerful. Senior, I wonder why you came to visit our Fengli sect. After sensing the atmosphere from the outside world, Chen Yunhai led the sect's senior leaders out of the hall. When he saw Yi Junline, he was shocked. Why does this person look so similar to the famous Xuantian sect monster decades ago? He remembered that the other party had cultivated to the golden elixir stage at a young age, which made him very worried when he found out, fearing that the Xuantian sect would skyrocket from now on. Fortunately, the other party suffered a sneak attack and lost all his cultivation. Later, he lived in seclusion in the mountains and did not care about worldly affairs. After so many years, he thought that this person had already passed away. Now seeing Yi Junline again, Chen Yunhai was shocked. Yi Junline seemed to be smiling but not smiling. Are you pretending to be stupid? How dare you invade my Xuantian sect's territory? As a severe punishment, Fengli sect will cease to exist starting today. Boom. As soon as these words came out, Fengli sect fell into panic. It seems that the Qingpeng Demon King has been killed. Your Xuantian sect is hiding so deeply. Chen Yunhai looked ugly. Unexpectedly, the genius of the Xuantian sect back then not only did not fall into the mortal world, but quietly broke through to the nascent soul realm. Before he could do it again, he would definitely be so frightened that he would be begging for mercy on his knees. Fortunately, he had someone to rely on today, and that was the strong man from the Yuha sect who came from afar. Looking at the calm old man, Chen Yunhai felt very calm. Mr. Mu, look at the situation now. He knew that this was definitely not an existence that the nascent soul cultivator could contend with. Mu Lao shook his head. Although it is a bit surprising that a small sect in this barren land has given birth to a monk who can kill Yuanying stage monsters. But in his eyes, he was as powerful as the Qingpeng Demon King, a flat-haired beast that could be easily destroyed. Boy, get out of here quickly before I change my mind. Mu Lao thinks very highly of himself, and he has a natural sense of superiority over the monks in this small place. He was too lazy to intervene in the disputes here, but because of his relationship with the young master of Fengli sect, he could only wave his hands impatiently, as if to ward off flies. Miao. Hearing this, Chen Yunhai was a little unhappy. In his opinion, this powerful man should directly kill him. Feeling the arrogance of the other party, Yi Junlin sneered, "Old man, what are you doing when you step on the horse? Do you want me to sell you face?" Instantly, everyone in Fengli sect was shocked. "Asshole, this person is from the Qingzhou Yuha sect. His status is so noble that a little Xuantian sect monk like you can offend." Chen Yunhai pretended to be angry, but in fact he was happy inside. He looked at Yi Junlin as if he were looking at a corpse. Arrogant, Mu Lao was enraged, his eyes flashed fiercely, and his aura suddenly surged, as if he was being swept by a hurricane. In an instant, terrifying pressure enveloped Fengli sect. Divinity realm, everyone was shocked. If a powerful person in the god transformation stage takes action, the monks of Xuantian sect will definitely die. At the same time, they were even more in awe of the Yuha sect in their hearts. Transform into a god. Okay, don't run away. Whoever runs away is the grandson. Yi Junlin's eyes lit up and he said in surprise. I have just reached the nascent soul, and now I am going to be promoted to the soul transformation. It is really an experience package delivered to my door. Mu Lao was so angry that his face was livid. He is a powerful person in the realm of gods, shouldn't the other party be afraid? What's this inexplicable excitement about? Court death. Mu Lao shouted angrily and stretched out his big hand to grab it. Aha! The giant turquoise hand condensed from the wood essence, like the palm of a god, swatted towards Yi Junlin. This blow is enough to kill the nascent soul cultivator no less than hundreds of times. Very good, this boy will die today. Chen Yunhai smiled. As long as Yi Junlin is eliminated, Xuantian sect will no longer threaten him. When he successfully broke through with the Huaying pill, he led his men to launch a general attack and completely raze the sect to the ground. Ding, it has been detected that the host is attacked by enemies in the late stage of the god transformation realm. Now it triggers the passive effect of becoming stronger when encountering strong ones, and obtains the peak cultivation level of the god transformation realm. Close black lens bracket. In an instant, a more powerful cultivation energy raged in Yi Junlin's body, and the aura it exuded was so terrifying that the expressions of everyone present changed drastically. Boom! The big green hand that looked like a mountain was shattered by Yi Junlin with a casual raise of his hand, and turned into countless starlights pouring down, which was really spectacular. You are also in the state of transformation into gods. Mu Lao was startled and looked at him in disbelief. In his eyes, the silver-haired young man who was originally at the nascent soul stage suddenly burst out with the aura of the god transformation stage, which was even deeper than him. Are you kidding me? Just in this barren state, there are actually aborigines who have cultivated themselves to the point of becoming gods. How is this possible? Chen Yunhai's smile disappeared instantly, replaced by a sense of fear, and his voice was as thin as a woman's. He was really scared. My heart almost stopped beating. The mere Xuantian sect actually has a powerful person in the god transformation stage sitting in charge. Now, the people of Fengli sect were so scared that they dared not breathe, and looked at Yi Junlin with horror. In Guangzhou, a Yuanian cultivator is already very powerful. He exists as the founder of a sect or the ancestor, and can make a sect stand for 1,000 years. And the Washan above the Yuanian can live for 10,000 years and have the ability to destroy the world. So, when seeing Yi Junlin showing his cultivation, everyone present lost their composure. Mu Lao, what should we do now? Chen Yunhai asked in a tone of help. If he knew that Xuantian sect had a Washan, he would not dare to provoke him even if he was beaten to death. Mu Lao's eyes changed continuously, as if he thought of something, and gradually regained his composure and sneered, why are you panicking? Don't forget that I am from Qingzhou Yuha sect. How can he imagine the immortal methods I master? Just based on this kid has no chance of winning. Chen Yunhai's eyes lit up. After all, Yuha sect is a holy place for cultivating immortals in Qingzhou, and it has all kinds of high-grade skills. Otherwise, why do so many cultivators in the East region want to get in? In comparison, even if a small sect like Xuantian sect has a god, the strength of the same realm will be very different due to the foundation of the skills. Thinking of this, Chen Yunhai breathed a sigh of relief, and looked at Yi Junlin with hatred. Fortunately, Mu Lao was present today, otherwise Fengli sect would really be destroyed. It was a close call. Old man, are you so confident? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. Mu Lao's tone was arrogant. I admit that your cultivation talent is extraordinary, but unfortunately, in terms of fighting between cultivators, you can never beat me, because I come from Yuha sect. Yuha sect. These 3 words have already explained everything. Any cultivator in it would be a dragon and phoenix among people in Guangzhou. Killing enemies across levels is like eating and drinking water. That is so powerful that grassroots cultivators can't imagine. Prepare to die. Mu Lao made hand gestures with both hands, and his robe fluttered. Rumble, 100,000 thick green vines covered the sky and turned into giant hands that grabbed Yi Junlin. The top-level magical power of the earth rank, Tai Ching Mu Palm. In the world of cultivation, all exercises are divided into grades, namely ordinary grade, spiritual grade, mysterious grade, earth grade, heaven grade, honor grade, immortal grade, and holy grade. There are very few cultivators in Guangzhou who can practice spiritual grade exercises, and even a spiritual grade exercise can be used as a treasure of the sect. Now, Mu Lao directly used the top-level magical power of the earth rank, which was enough to show the terrifying foundation of Yuha sect. Boy, it is your honor as a cultivator of a low-ranking sect to die in my hands. Mu Lao was full of vigor and confidence. This was his best magical power, and he once established a great reputation among the elders of the outer sect. Humph, a trifling trick. Yi Junlin reached out and made a seal with his hand. Boom. Behind him, a towering figure appeared, like an almighty emperor who suppressed billions of people. What is this? Mu Lao's forehead was covered with beads of sweat, his pupils suddenly shrank into needles, goosebumps appeared all over his body, and he felt creepy. He had never seen such a domineering and extraordinary magical power, and at the first sight, he felt like submitting. The Human King Seal. The clear voice resounded through the sky, revealing a sense of majesty. Under countless shocked eyes, Yi Junlin raised his hand and hit the Human King Seal. Its momentum was to reverse the sun and the moon and rebel against the sky. Chapter 5. C5 My son Chen Xiao has the potential to become an immortal. Boom. The 2 sides collided. Tai Yi's green wood palm was directly annihilated. The Human King's seal hangs over Mu Lao's head, suppressing it. Not good. Mu Lao offered up magic weapons and talismans one after another in an attempt to resist this terrifying killing move, but they were broken one after another under the seal of the Human King. Feeling that his body was about to be wiped out, he shouted in despair, "Wait a minute. For the sake of the Yuha sect, please spare your life, senior." Yi Junlin sneered. The Yuha gate is nothing. If you dare to provoke me, I will destroy it. Mu Lao was shocked and angry. He didn't expect the other party to be so arrogant. Even if a transformed god can dominate in Guangzhou, in Qingzhou Yuha sect, it can only be regarded as mediocre. As the top cultivation force in the eastern region, how can the monks of this small sect defend it? If I die here, your sect will be in disaster. And as the instigator, your fate will only be worse. Feeling that his body was on the verge of collapse, Mu Lao was so anxious that he was sweating profusely and shouted at the top of his lungs. "Haha, you still dare to threaten me now?" Yi Junlin raised his hand to press it down and shouted coldly, "Death!" Ah! In the screams. With a rumble, the Human King's seal burst out with brilliant divine light. Mu Lao was immediately crushed into fly ash and died on the spot. This moment, Fengli sect was silent. Chen Yunhai fell to his knees, covered in cold sweat. His whole body was shaking because he was too scared. He looked at the silver-haired young man who looked like an immortal and said in a trembling voice, "Mr. Yi Shen, this is all a misunderstanding. Our Fengli sect is willing to surrender and serve you. In the current situation, save your life first." Seeing the sect master kneeling down, everyone in the Fengli sect also knelt down. In front of a powerful person in the god transformation realm, any resistance was in vain. "Are you worthy of being my dog?" Yi Junlin said disdainfully. Chen Yunhai's body trembled, he slowly raised his head, his eyes were covered with scarlet bloodshot eyes, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Mr. Yi Shen, my son Chen Xiao has the appearance of becoming an immortal, and now he is accepted by the Venerable as his direct descendant in the Yuha sect. Can you really afford to offend me? Don't make this mistake." He hoped that this would make Yi Junlin afraid and spare his life. "Oh," Yi Junlin said with great interest, "the appearance of becoming an immortal. He is quite boastful. Even if he really becomes an immortal in the future, I can kill him to show you. He has the ability to become stronger when he encounters strong ones. Even if the legendary immortal emperor comes, his cultivation level will surpass him. Nothing to be afraid of." Chen Yunhai's eyes were splitting, and he was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He could see that this was a madman, an out-and-out madman. Rumble. At this time, a large number of warships appeared in the sky, charging straight towards Fengli sect with a huge momentum. Junior Brother Yi, we are here. A ray of blue lightning cut through the sky like a shooting star, revealing the figure of the sect leader. The 7 peak masters followed closely behind, their eyes filled with fighting spirit. That's someone from Xuantian sect. It's over, we're hopeless. Run. Fengli sect fell into chaos, with disciples and elders fleeing everywhere. HMPH, if I had known today, why would I kill him in the first place? Shu Yunian shouted in a deep voice. Boom boom boom, one warship after another emitted dazzling beams of light, bombarding various places wildly. The sky was filled with flames and smoke. Countless Xuantian sect monks rushed out with magic weapons in hand, and their shouts of killing shook the heaven and the earth. Looking at the scene of mountains of corpses and seas of blood in front of him, Chen Yunhai's face was filled with grief, and his intestines turned green with regret. He stared at Yi Junlin, his eyes filled with strong resentment. If this guy hadn't deliberately concealed his cultivation, how could he have provoked the Xuantian sect? What the hell, someone who is in the state of becoming a god is still hiding it. What a loss to this man. You just wait for me. My son has the appearance of becoming an immortal. The shame of today's bloodbath will be repaid 1,000 times by my son. Chen Yunhai roared out of control. Shabi. Yi Junlin reached out his hand and touched it disdainfully. Bang! Chen Yunhai's head exploded like a watermelon, and his headless body fell into a pool of blood. Several other Jindan monks tried to escape, but Yi Junlin raised his hand and slapped them to death. Not a moment, under the attack of everyone, Fengli sect was uprooted, and various elixirs and trophies were moved to the warships in batches. We won, long live, the Xuantian sect monks cheered excitedly. Shu Yunian's face was flushed, and his laughter was loud and strong. Haha, Junior Brother Yi, do you think what I found? He took out an exquisite brocade box, and when he opened it, he found a spiritual elixir. It's the infant transformation pill. I found this from old Go Chen. I didn't expect this guy to have such a good thing. With it, I can break through the nascent soul in a few days. Shu Yunian is very happy. He has been stuck in the golden elixir stage for many years, and this is his biggest gain. Congratulations, Sect Master, our Xuantian sect now has a second nascent soul. A peak master said excitedly. In the nascent soul stage, he is the overlord in Wangzhou. There are 2 of them in Xuantian sect at once, enough to be among the best among all the major sects. Actually, Yi Junlin thought for a while and decided to speak. Suddenly, a surprised shout came. Everyone, what do you think this is? I picked it up on the ground. The master of the hidden sword peak walked quickly and raised the simple token in his hand. The word, Yuha, on the token was brilliant and extraordinary. Shu Yunian widened his eyes and said in shock, This is the token of Yuha sect. Huh, the leader of Kangjian Peak was startled and looked at the token in his hand in shock. He didn't expect it to be so powerful. That is the holy place of cultivation in Qingzhou, and it is truly the top force in the eastern region. And judging from the style of this token, perhaps the wearer is at a high level in Yuha sect, at least an elder. Shu Yunian snatched the token, took it in his hand and looked at it carefully, and exclaimed. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. That kind of existence must be at least at the level of transformation. But how could it appear in Fengli sect? The leader of Tianxiang Peak said lightly. Suddenly, everyone was stunned and had a lot of thoughts. Could it be dropped accidentally? Shu Yunian frowned. He didn't think about it at all, because the former was a giant dragon soaring in the sky, and the latter was just a sesame-sized ant. How could there be any intersection? Ahem. Shu Yunian cleared his throat, looked at the vast sky, and said in a deep voice, I have no intention of offending you, please show up and take back the token. Everyone looked up expectantly. If he showed up, maybe they could have a good relationship. If they could get in touch with Yuhuaman, it would be very good for Xuantian sect in the future. Result. A crow's cry came from the sky. Shu Yunian was unwilling to give up and wanted to continue speaking, but his shoulder was patted. He turned his head and saw a silver-haired young man looking at him with a strange face. Junior Brother Yi, you. Yi Junlin said helplessly. Don't shout, I killed everyone. Chapter 6. C6 Accepting a disciple, the leader of the demon cult. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. The dignified Yuha sect elder was killed by you. Shu Yunian was startled and said in surprise. Junior Brother Yi, are you kidding? With your level. Obviously, he was suspicious of Yi Junlin. Actually, I am not in the nascent soul realm. With that said, Yi Junlin deliberately released his cultivation aura. Boom! Shu Yunian and the others felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar, and fear arose in their hearts. They felt how insignificant they were in front of this huge sense of oppression. Transform into a god. A flash of extreme shock flashed in their eyes, and their expressions were full of disbelief. If nascent soul can move in all directions in Guangzhou, then transformation god is a giant that can move completely sideways. Even in the entire eastern region, they can receive preferential treatment from all forces. Shu Yunian was originally very excited, but as soon as he saw the token in his hand, the joy in his heart suddenly disappeared and was replaced by deep worry. Junior brother Yi, what is going on? Why did you kill the people from the Yuha sect? That kind of behemoth, if it stomps its feet casually, the entire eastern region will be shaken. Xuantian sect was as insignificant as dust in front of him. This is what happened. Yi Junlin did not hide anything and told the whole story. What? Chen Lagu's son was actually accepted as his direct descendant by the venerable Yuha sect. No wonder there is an elder who has traveled thousands of miles to come here. Fengali sect is really lucky. It's over. Now Fengali sect has been destroyed, and you killed the elder of Yuha sect. This matter can definitely not be solved. After knowing the various reasons, several peak masters were anxious and worried. Shu Yunian sighed. That's all, this is fate. Even if junior brother Yi doesn't take action and has the support of the Yuha sect, Chen Lagu will still attack my Xuantian sect. But how should we deal with this matter now? Is there any place for the Xuantian sect in the entire eastern region if we have offended the Yuha sect? The master of Tianxiang Peak asked worriedly. Everyone fell into silence. Shu Yunian's eyes changed, as if he had made some kind of determination, and he said in a serious tone to Yi Junlin, Junior brother Yi, you are extremely talented and have a profound connection with the immortal world. You must not ruin your future here. If you ask me, you should simply leave the eastern region in the future. If the Yuha sect comes to hold you accountable, we will not die. As long as you are still alive, Xuantian sect will have a chance to continue. Quote. The sect leader is right. The master of Hidden Sword Peak said seriously. Agree. The others nodded, their eyes full of determination. See this. Yi Junlin was shocked. This sect is so cohesive. Everyone, please be patient. Leave this matter to me and I will take care of it. Yi Junlin smiled. If he encounters a cheat that is stronger than others, he is still eager for the Yuha sect to cause trouble. In addition to receiving the usual sign-in rewards, Yi Junlin is confident that his strength will further leap forward. Ding, it has been detected that there is a suitable disciple candidate within 100 miles, who is suspected to be the leader of the demon cult at the level of a true immortal. Will the host go and accept him as his disciple? After completing it, you will receive unimaginable rewards. Close black lens bracket. At this time, a sweet lowly sound came into my mind. Yi Junlin froze on the spot. What's going on? The system actually asked him to recruit a disciple, and the other party was the leader of the demon sect at the level of a true immortal. Existences of this level also appear in Guangzhou. Wait, if I go to touch porcelain, I will be in the realm of true immortality directly with my golden finger. Damn it, woohoo is taking off. Even if we don't accept disciples, we still have to go this time. But, at this time, Shu Yunian looked troubled and wanted to persuade him, but Yi Junlin waved his hand to interrupt. Everyone, you are free to do as you like. I'll take my leave first. Then, he used the Great Void technique and disappeared, leaving everyone confused. Zixu Bamboo Forest. The bamboo forest is rustling and the green leaves are flying. There was a tall figure running away in embarrassment, blood overflowing from the corner of his mouth. Hong Chenny has disheveled hair, a delicate and beautiful face, with a frosty face, a vermilion flame mark between her eyebrows, and a pair of beautiful red and phoenix eyes, showing a look of grief and indignation. Jia 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 Jia, beauty, don't run away, let me be happy, Master Dao. From behind, an evil voice came from far to near, full of greed for desire. Hear this. Red Chiba's forehead had veins protruding, and he turned around and roared, get out. How many times have I told you? I am a man, a man. The empty master who was chasing after him laughed loudly, with a burning look in his eyes. The girl is so beautiful, how could she be a boy? Stop trying to trick me. The more Hong Chenny listened, the angrier she became. Feeling that the other party was rapidly approaching, a burst of sadness suddenly emerged in her heart. It's really like a tiger being bullied by a dog. He was once the all-powerful leader of the demon cult in the central region. The fire-worship demon cult he founded was so powerful that it ruled over 100,000 countries and was followed by hundreds of millions of believers. His own cultivation level has even reached the realm of true immortality. Who can imagine? The sworn enemies united with multiple Holy Land forces to launch a large-scale siege against the fire-worship demon sect. The once huge force fell apart, and the forces that had previously been loyal to them turned their backs on the battlefield. The leader of the demon sect, Hong Chiba, also became the target of the crusade. That day, immortals from all over the sky came to take his life. Hong Chenny used the supreme secret method and risked all his cultivation to force his way out of the siege. He spent countless hardships to escape to the eastern region and hid in this remote and barren state. Today's Hong Chenny is no longer in the realm of the true immortal level, and her cultivation has already fallen to the early stage of the foundation establishment realm. She originally wanted to use the skills to practice again, and then return to the central region for revenge. As a result, he encountered a pervert before he had been hiding for a few days. He was determined to catch him for doing something illegal. He was once the leader of the demon cult, and he was an immortal. If he was succeeded by such an ant, I am afraid that his Taoism would collapse, and how could he talk about revenge? Beauty, run faster, I will catch you. If you fall into my hands, hee. Mr. Kongshu had heavy dark circles under his eyes, as if he had indulged in excessive sexual activities. At this time, he drove the golden light across the bamboo forest, staring at the back with greedy eyes, and yelled. As a Jindan realm cultivator, it is not easy to catch a foundation building cultivator. Soon, several brown nails flew over, trying to nail Hong Chenny's limbs. Hearing the sound of the wind, Hong Chenny felt a sense of alarm. He raised his hand and formed a seal to cast a red flame shield to intercept the nails, but the shield was also broken, causing him to groan and fly backwards, smashing several bamboos before falling to the ground. Hong Chenny resisted the urge to vomit blood, and was about to leave without adjusting his state. As a result, the space around him was blocked by several half-foot-long nails. Hey, you are a little foundation-building person, but you can't toss around. Master Kongshu was a little surprised. He was in the late Jindan realm, and the nails he just cast were 5-grade magic weapons. In this case, he couldn't subdue the other party in an instant. This is really surprising. With such a strong strength, could it be that the genius of a major sect went out to travel? Forget it, never mind. After he has his fun, he will kill this woman directly and destroy the body. Damn you bastard! Hong Chenny gritted her teeth in hatred, her delicate and cold face was full of anger. If all the talismans had not been used up in the battle and all the magic weapons had not been destroyed, how could she be chased by a mere golden elixir like this? Beauty, don't resist, my patience is limited. Be good, bear with it. Master Kongshu looked wretched and slowly approached. Several nails were aimed at Hong Chenny, emitting a terrible breath. Seeing that he was forced into a dead end, Hong Chenny could no longer bear it. He stretched out his hands to pull open his collar, revealing his strong chest, and almost collapsed emotionally and roared, "Fuck your ancestors. Open your dog eyes and look. I am a man, ah. At this moment, the bamboo forest was silent. Master Kongshu's eyes almost popped out, his face full of disbelief. Damn, he is really a man. Chasing for so long, is it in vain? Did you see clearly? They are men like you. Stop chasing me." Hong Chenny tidied her clothes, thinking that after clarifying her gender, she could finally leave. There are all kinds of people these days. She should be more careful next time and not be entangled by this old pervert again. Wait, suddenly, the voice of Kongshu Zhenren sounded faintly, which made Hong Chenny's body covered with goosebumps. Actually, it's not impossible for men. Warm tips. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error, or contact us at the bottom to let us know. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 7. C7 The desperate leader of the demon cult. What? Hong Chenny was stunned, and felt a chill in his heart. Hee, I accept that you are a man if you look like this. Be obedient and get down quickly. I can't wait to try it. Mr. Kongshu laughed obscenely, his eyes full of strong desire. Get out, I would rather die than surrender. Hong Chenny roared, exhausted all his magic power, and quickly made hand gestures to cast a spell. A blazing orange-red flame appeared above his head, like a gorgeous lotus in full bloom, containing terrifying energy. The temperature around him rose rapidly, and the leaves on the ground burned one after another. Mr. Kongshu's face changed, and he felt a little dry in his mouth. I have never seen such a large formation brought by a cultivator in the foundation building stage. What level of magic is this? Mysterious level, or earth level? You bastard, you've completely pissed me off. Go to hell. Hong Chenny's long hair flew, his eyes were cold and intimidating, as if he was possessed by the former giant of the magic world, and his tone was unquestionable. Swish, the blooming flaming lotus, with its overwhelming momentum, pressed towards the true man of emptiness. You, feeling the terrifying oppression, true man of emptiness turned pale, raised his hand to recall the magic weapon to resist. Unexpectedly, several nails were melted quickly. The next second, the orange-red flaming lotus came in an instant. Ah, true man of emptiness let out a shrill wail, and the flames burned his body like a thorn in his flesh. After a while, it turned into charred residue, and disappeared without a trace as the breeze blew. You asked for it, pervert. Hong Chenny sneered, and staggered to the ground. At this moment, his dantian was almost shattered, and he felt a strong sense of weakness all over his body. The magical power just now was of the heavenly rank. Although it was very powerful, the price it brought was unbearable for the Foundation establishment stage. If this trick can't kill the opponent, Hong Chenny will really be at a loss. There is no way, even if he masters various powerful magical powers, he doesn't have enough cultivation to use them. In the past, he could kill such an ant with just a glance. Now Hong Chenny's mana is exhausted and his physical condition is very bad. He is as weak as a lamb to be slaughtered. It's really unlucky to be involved in such a thing. I must leave here immediately and find a place to recuperate before making plans. Hong Chenny stood up with difficulty. Hee, that pervert died well. You are really a big shot. Suddenly, a voice came abruptly, making Hong Chenny, who had originally let down his guard, feel his heart in his throat. There was an old beggar with messy hair and a red nose, holding a wine gourd in his hand and slowly walked out of the bamboo forest, his eyes revealing a cunning gleam. Who are you? Hong Chenny looked ugly. Is this going to end? Don't think too much, my friend, I just happened to pass by here and ran into this interesting scene. Although I know the real person Kongshu, I don't have a deep intersection with him, and I won't pursue his death. The old beggar smiled kindly. Besides, my sexual orientation is normal, my friend can rest assured. That's good. Hong Chenny breathed a sigh of relief and bowed his hands and said, in this case, Taoist friends, we will meet again in the future, goodbye. According to his intuition, this old beggar is very dangerous. Hong Chenny just turned around, a gust of wind blew in front of him, and the old beggar appeared instantly. He was disheveled and showed a mouthful of yellow teeth, and smiled strangely, but compared to the person in front, I am more interested in your secrets. Boom. In a moment, the aura of the Jindan realm's cultivation enveloped Hong Chenny, forcing him to half kneel on the ground, his bones creaking and his eyes bloodshot. You. Hong Chenny's eyes were red with anger, knowing that he could not escape this calamity. He was once a giant of the magic path, and he relied on his hard work to overcome the calamity and become an immortal. No one knew the dangers of the intrigues among practitioners better than him. This old guy wanted to take away his immortal fate. Haha, let me see what's in your mind and why you have such a powerful magical power. The beggar's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he slowly stretched out his skinny palm. I will fuck your ancestors. Hong Chenny gritted his teeth, feeling extremely anxious. In his current state, he was like a fish on a chopping board, and could only be slaughtered. Is his road to rebuilding going to end here? At this time, the beggar old man smiled, his palm was already on Hong Chenny's head, and he was about to perform soul search regardless of the consequences. I am not willing, I am not willing. Hong Chenny shouted in his heart, and a sense of shame surged through his body. Boom. At this moment, the terrifying pressure came instantly, and the whole world seemed to collapse. Who? The beggar old man's face suddenly changed, and a huge sense of fear emerged in his heart, and he turned his head in fear. On the other side, the void was rippling, and a black-robed young man with an ethereal temperament walked out with his hands behind his back. His long silver-white hair was flying in disorder, his face was handsome, and his eyes were like two cold rays, piercing straight at him. The beggar old man did not dare to move, beads of sweat overflowed from his forehead, and his lips trembled. Senior, senior. Yi Junlin frowned, looking away from the old beggar, and then stopped at Hong Chenny, who was half kneeling on the ground. Suddenly, Yi Junlin's face looked very strange. Tongzi, come on, tell me, is this the leader of the demon cult? Or is it the level of a true immortal? Isn't this a foundation-building weakling? Are you lying? Ding, this system didn't lie to you. This demon sect leader who was once a true fairyland has only experienced a decline in cultivation. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the eye of insight has been opened for the host. Close black lens bracket. The next second, Hong Chenyi's personal information formed a virtual panel and appeared in front of Yi Junlin. Open black lens bracket, name close black lens bracket, red Chiba. Gender male. Cultivation early stage of foundation building realm. Talent immortal fire spiritual root damaged. Identity former leader of the fire demon sect, a true fairyland monk who overcame tribulations and became an immortal. Holy crap, it's true. Yi Junlin was very surprised. He didn't expect that this person was so awesome before, but now he is really inferior to a phoenix. Etc. This is actually a man. Yi Junlin stared at the gender column in shock, and then carefully looked at Hong Chenyi again, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. The snow-white skin is smooth and delicate, the facial features are exquisite and the eyebrows are picturesque. The pair of red phoenix eyes are so beautiful that they seem to be able to capture the soul. The scarlet flame mark between the eyebrows adds a different kind of charm and style. Just for her looks, many girls would feel ashamed after seeing her. Ahem, it turns out this is a man. Yi Junlin originally thought that this was a big shot in women's clothing, but judging from the clothes the other party wore, she didn't do anything deliberately. She was a real natural beauty. Coupled with this long hair, anyone could see it. Wrong gender. Although it's only the foundation building period, if you have this talent for cultivation, you can definitely return to your previous heights. Accepting him as a disciple will pay off. Yi Junlin thought secretly. What's more, being able to command a demon sect leader, a once high-ranking immortal, is so satisfying just thinking about it. It's over. The other party is a monk in the realm of gods. I am in danger today. Hong Chenyi looked desperate and was not happy about Yi Junlin's arrival. In his opinion, the secrets in him are enough to make the entire world of cultivation boil. How many strong men will fight for him, just to compete for this immortal fate? Therefore, this silver-haired young man is no exception. Once the old beggar is killed, he will fall into the hands of others, and the ending will not change at all. Chapter 8. C8 Accepting a Disciple. Obtain the Heaven Burial Coffin. The old beggar was so scared that he almost peed in his crotch. Is there any mistake? How could there be a powerful god in a small deserted state? Could it be related to this man? Combined with Hong Chenyi's extraordinary origin, the old beggar increasingly felt that Yi Junlin might be his elder. Thinking of this, the old beggar man felt very regretful. What a sin, what a bad luck. This divine lord, I don't know your relationship with this little friend. Everything that happened just now was a misunderstanding. I hope that the divine lord will be noble and let you go. The old beggar fell to his knees and begged like a mourning concubine. In the world of cultivation, monks in each realm have corresponding honorific titles. For example, golden elixir is called real person. Nascent soul is called the true king. And the transformed god is called the divine lord. Now, Yi Junlin didn't even bother to look at him, and waved his hand casually as if to ward off flies. Bang! The old beggar was hit by an invisible force. He vomited blood and his whole body flew upside down like a broken kite. Then his head was heavily stuck on the ground, half of his body was submerged in the soil, and he passed out. Seeing the silver-haired young man approaching step by step, Hong Chenyi had a sad smile on his face. After all, there is no way to escape. Just when he was feeling sad and angry, a voice fell lightly onto his ears. I am amazed to see your bones. You are a rare genius in cultivating immortals. I will decide to accept you as my disciple today. How about that? The sound was not loud, but it was like thunder, making Hong Chenyi's head buzz. What? Hong Chenyi couldn't believe it. She raised her head and looked at the serious silver-haired young man, with thoughts running wildly in her mind. HMPH, this little god-transforming monk actually wants to accept me as his disciple. Could it be that you are interested in the secrets of me and want to explore further? But if so, why not just search for the soul? Or maybe you want to change your strategy to make me feel grateful to him and give back to him when I reach the top again in the future. In fact, it's no wonder Hong Chenyi thinks so. As a giant of the demonic generation, he experienced various cruel struggles before finally attaining enlightenment and becoming an immortal, establishing a great reputation in the central region. Hong Chenyi has seen so many people who are hypocritical. Compared to the decisiveness and ruthlessness of the demonic monks, the hypocrisy and duplicity of the righteous monks made him feel sicker. Of course, everything cannot be generalized. But Hong Chenyi felt that the goodwill released by Yi Junlin was more biased towards his guesses and perceptions. You don't want to? Yi Junlin seemed to be smiling but not smiling. Sensing the change in the other party's tone, Hong Chenyi's heart skipped a beat. Forget it, keep the green hills and don't worry about running out of firewood. When he recovers his cultivation level, he will be able to stand up and call the shots. After all, giving in now is the best way. It's just acting, just going through the motions. Disciple Hong Chenny, pay homage to Master. It is the greatest honor in my life to be able to join Master. Hong Chenny fell to her knees and bowed to her master in a serious manner, saying in a grateful tone. Hey, good disciple, please get up quickly. Hong Chenny, what a good name. I will call you Xiao Hong as my teacher from now on. Yi Junlin suppressed a smile. He knew that the leader of the demon cult was not sincere, but it didn't matter. He just wanted to add new members to his Piaomiao Peak and complete the tasks released by the system. As for whether he would rebel after he regained his realm, Yi Junlin didn't worry about it at all, because his cultivation would only become stronger. Xiao Hong, the muscles in the corners of Hong Chenny's eyes twitched, and she felt very aggrieved. It was too casual to say that he was the leader of the demon cult. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the task of recruiting a disciple and being rewarded with the automatic training mode of magical powers. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Sky Burial Coffin, which contains 108 restrictions, which will be gradually unlocked as the host's realm improves. It is currently a third-grade spiritual weapon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Burial in Sky Coffin. Close black lens bracket. You can bury in the sky, you can bury in the earth, you can bury everything. It can be used to refine any living being, and even in the later stages, it can be buried in coffins in all the worlds. Ding, the host apprentice's qualifications have been detected, and this system provides an upgraded service package for free. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the reward is the Fire System Skill, 3000 Flames Sutra. Close black lens bracket. Ding, reward the Fire Source Pill used to repair the fire spiritual roots and create the Supreme Foundation. Close black lens bracket. Ding, the rewards for this mission have ended. Is the host still satisfied? Close black lens bracket. The sweet system Lolita sounded in my mind. Well, the service attitude is good. It's none of your business now. Please step back. Yi Junlin was excited inside, but pretended to be calm on his face. Ding, okay, close black lens bracket. This is the attitude that the system should have towards the distinguished Chinese travelers. Yi Junlin sighed secretly, having experienced a master service. The reward this time includes the ability to practice all the magical powers and techniques he has learned. This is tantamount to saving him a lot of time, and he can lie down happily in the future. You must know that magical powers and techniques have their own practice progress, which is related to the level of power exerted by the practitioner. They are entry, small success, great success, consummation, and transformation. In each stage, the power and effect exploded can reach up to 10 times or even 100 times. Cultivation is certainly important, but his own strength is strong enough, and he can also surpass the level and kill the enemy unexpectedly. There is also this Sky Burial Coffin that is rewarded by the system. Hearing this reputation makes me feel domineering, and I am ready to ruin the way of heaven if I disagree with you. Just relying on this magical weapon, which currently reaches the level of a spiritual weapon, is enough for him to be proud of the entire eastern region. After all, magic weapons are divided into magic weapons, treasure weapons, spiritual weapons, mysterious weapons, fairy weapons, and holy weapons. It is further subdivided into grades 1 to 9, with 9 being the limit. It is extremely difficult for most monks in Kunlun realm to reach the threshold of treasures in this life. Not to mention the spiritual weapons exclusively for the bosses. Moreover, the Sky Burial Coffin can be restored step by step as his realm improves, unlocking the corresponding restrictions. In the end, Yi Junlin was looking forward to seeing how amazingly powerful this supreme treasure could be. Master, Master, Hong Chenny's voice interrupted Yi Junlin's thoughts. Seeing this exquisite and beautiful face with a hint of weirdness, Yi Junlin knew that he had been distracted just now. Ahem, Xiao Hong, as a ceremony to become a master, the master should give you a technique that will help you practice in the future. Thank you, Master. Hong Chiba symbolically bowed her hands in thanks, and when she lowered her head, her eyes showed disdain. Haha, this little transformed god still dares to teach me how to practice. I'm giving you face, right? Pretending to be addicted. I want to see what kind of rubbish techniques you can come up with to fool people. Aha, Yi Junlin stretched out his finger and tapped it gently, and the light containing various information merged into the red Chenny Sea of Consciousness. 3000 Flames Sutra. Hong Chenny frowned and realized it subconsciously. Boom. He originally responded with a contemptuous attitude, but he felt that his mind exploded instantly. Hong Chenyi's breathing quickened, two blushes ignited on his cheeks, and his whole body continued to tremble at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this time, Hong Chenyi's mind was shaken violently, and he was trapped in the mystery of the 3000 Flames Sutra and couldn't extricate himself. You know, the reverse chaos angry flame technique that he majors in is a top-level fire attribute technique. Even in the middle realm, it already belongs to the ceiling, and it plays a vital role in personal practice. Hong Chenyi has always been very satisfied with this technique, and she is confident that she can regain her strength, break through and then stand again, and become an immortal again. But now, the 3000 Flames Sutra given by the other party directly overturned Hong Chenyi's various perceptions, and her mentality suddenly changed dramatically. Compared with the 3000 Flames Sutra, his reverse chaos raging flame technique is simply complete garbage. There is no comparison at all, it is the difference between heaven and earth. Oh my god, this is definitely the immortal level, even the legendary holy level. Hong Chenyi seemed to be hit by huge happiness, and she was dizzy. You can imagine the shock in her heart. This skill not only opens up a new fire calling practice method, but also contains 3000 fire-type magical powers. The higher the ranking, the more powerful it is. With the help of this technique, his cultivation will be extremely fast, and his strength will increase beyond imagination. Return to true immortality? No, be braver. While Hong Chenyi was thinking about it, Yi Junlin threw him another round red pill, and this one, for you. This is. Looking at the red elixir in her hand, Hong Chenyi felt as if she had been struck by lightning, her face full of disbelief, and she screamed. Fire Source Pill, Chapter 9, C9 lucky to find it. Oh, it turns out you know each other. Yi Junlin said. Hong Chenyi's heart was like a turbulent wave. With his former position, he was naturally well informed and was no stranger to Fire Source Pill. For monks who major in fire attribute skills, this is simply an elixir given by God, which can have an extremely significant amplification effect. It's so precious that even immortals would fight for it. Moreover, ever since he used the secret technique and escaped from death, his foundation has been damaged, which will affect his future cultivation path. The appearance of this Fire Source Pill is like giving help in the snow. This is all for me, Hong Chenyi murmured to himself. No one has been so kind to him since he was a child. Some people only have evil intentions and intrigues. Now Yi Junlin has given him skills and elixirs, all of which are of unimaginably high levels. While he has helped Hong Chenyi a lot, he is also very grateful. Wait a minute, how did a small person in the realm of transformation get these two things? Not even I, in my heyday, have the ability to do this. Hong Chenyi felt ridiculous. What's going on these days? The techniques and elixirs that even the top giants in the central region were crazy about were now casually taken out by a monk from the barren state. Could it be that he has a greater destiny? Hong Chenyi's thoughts were spinning, and her heart was beating wildly. After all, whether it is the 3000 Flames Sutra or the Fire Source Pill, it is definitely not something that the God Transformation Cultivator can come up with. The only explanation could be that the other party brought it from some ancient ruins, but with his current eyesight, he didn't know how rare it was. Thinking of this, Hong Chenyi breathed extremely quickly, feeling that she was lucky. Zhao Hong, are you not satisfied with what I gave you as a teacher? Seeing Hong Chenyi's expression changing one after another, Yi Junlin found it a bit funny. What was the demon sect leader thinking about? Hong Chenyi came back to her senses, her attitude immediately changed drastically, and she raised her hands and said solemnly, Master, this is absolutely not the case. It is a disciple's great fortune to meet his master and take him in as a disciple. In this case, he might as well be this disciple and wait until his cultivation improves to find out the secrets of this person. Well, take this elixir and master will protect you personally. Thank you master. Then, Hong Chenyi swallowed the Fire Source Pill, sat cross-legged and meditated and began to refine the medicine. In an instant, wisps of green smoke were rising from the top of his head, his snow-white skin was as red as a soldering iron, his whole pretty face was so red that it was bleeding, and his whole body seemed to be on fire. At this moment, earth-shaking changes took place in his body. Boom! Red Chiba's momentum is rising steadily. The early stage, middle stage, late stage, peak, and perfection of foundation building. Break through the golden elixir. After a while, Hong Chenyi's cultivation level stagnated, reaching the early stage of nascent soul. The immortal fire spiritual roots in his body have been restored to their original state, and the foundation has become extremely solid. It will be easy to practice 1,000 miles in the future. In just half an hour, he broke through from foundation establishment to nascent soul. Such an exaggerated breakthrough speed was unheard of in the Central Territory. But in Yi Junline's view, this guy was originally a true immortal who was recultivated, and with the help of suitable skills and elixirs, it was normal for him to take off. Hong Chenny noticed the changes in her body and was very excited. She raised her head to the sky and roared to vent her happiness. The roar was full of ambition and pride, shaking the entire vast bamboo forest and causing countless birds to flee in all directions. Just wait, when I return to the Central Realm, I will definitely avenge my previous humiliation. When she saw that the silver-haired young man had a strange expression, Hong Chenny realized that she had just lost her composure, coughed a few times and cupped her hands and said, "Master, this disciple is rude." "No problem, follow me back to the sect and meet your uncle and uncle." Yi Junline waved his hand. Yes, Xuantian sect. The atmosphere was very lively. There was a smile on everyone's face. After all, they had just won a big victory, and their hearts were filled with pride. Thanks to Master Yi's presence, otherwise our Xuantian sect would have been destroyed. Yes, Lord Yifeng is our savior. Hey, it's a pity that I was blind and missed the opportunity to worship Piao Miao Peak. Otherwise, I would be a disciple of Piao Miao Peak now. It would be great if people could join Piao Miao Peak, so that they can see the handsome Master Yi every day. Master Yifeng is now the strongest person in the Xuantian sect. His standards for accepting disciples must be very high. I really don't know who he can take a liking to. There was a lot of discussion within the sect, and countless eyes were cast on Piao Miao Peak, full of strong yearning. Everyone used to think that Yi Junline had lost all his cultivation, so they naturally avoided Piao Miao Peak, fearing that he would be implicated and delay his future. Now, Yi Junline killed Yuanying with one finger, shocking the whole sect. Only then did everyone realize what a great opportunity they had missed. "Look, everyone, Master Yi is back," a disciple shouted. Suddenly, countless eyes converged on him. I saw Yi Junline with his silver hair flying, his clothes fluttering down from the sky, his face plump and handsome, and his temperament as ethereal as a banished immortal. Hey, who is that woman behind him? Some people were surprised. Hong Chenny is dressed in a fiery red robe, with waterfall-like black hair reaching her waist, a delicate and beautiful face, a high nose, and a flame mark between her eyebrows. She is extremely extraordinary, but her temperament is very cold, as if she is repelling people thousands of miles away. It's so beautiful, many male disciples murmured to themselves, their chests pounding. Oops, this is a heart-pounding feeling. Damn it, where did this vixen come from? She can actually get so close to Master Yi. The female disciples were so angry that they almost went crazy, with all kinds of envy and jealousy in their hearts. Xiao Hong, this is the sect Xuantian sect where my master is from. From now on, you will be my chief disciple of Piao Miao Peak. Yi Junline said with emotion. His barren mountain finally had someone to deal with the weeds. It is my disciple's honor to join Master's disciples. Hong Chenny said respectfully. A hint of disgust flashed through the pair of iconic red phoenix eyes. This so-called immortal cultivation sect is really too shabby, and the people here have very low cultivation levels. Compared with Zhongyu, it is simply a world of difference. Even if it was the fire-worshipping demon cult he founded back then, any ordinary disciple could destroy this place. Forget it, since I am in urgent need of training, I can just stay here for a while. Hong Chenny said secretly. If it weren't for Yi Junline, he would have left long ago without looking back. If he wants to dig out the secrets of this person, he must learn to patiently disguise his identity. Junior brother Yi, are you going? Shu Yunian walked out of the hall, glanced at Hong Chenny behind him, and said tentatively to Yi Junline. I picked up a disciple along the way, Zhao Hong, come and pay homage to the sect master. Yi Junline waved. Sensing the middle-aged man's shallow cultivation, Hong Chenny felt a little depressed, but due to the situation, she could only bow her hands in a polite manner. Disciple Hong Chenny meets the sect master. Apprentice. Shu Yunian was stunned. He had just discussed with several other peak masters to hold a grand apprenticeship ceremony and asked Yi Junline to select suitable disciples to enter Piao Miao Peak. Unexpectedly, he picked up a disciple halfway. Look at this girl, she looks pretty cool. Hey, what a beautiful girl. The master of Tianxiang Peak twisted his waist and walked over gracefully. When he saw the extremely good-looking Hong Chenny, he couldn't help but move forward to get closer. Hong Chenny's eyes were like piercing with sharp swords, and she shouted, I am a man. Boom. As he spoke, a powerful aura was released from his whole body. The master of Tianxiang Peak trembled, his face turned pale with fright, and he said in horror, Yuanying. This person is actually a Yuanying realm monk. Shu Union and the others were shocked. Asshole, this is my senior sister. Yi Junlin frowned and said, hurry up and apologize. Hong Chenny reacted and quickly restrained her cultivation to suppress her inner displeasure. She cupped her hands and said, it's my disciple who is being rude. No, it's okay. The master of Tianxiang Peak looked embarrassed and did not dare to continue to approach. Junior brother Yi, where did you recruit your disciple? He is in the nascent soul stage. Shu Union clicked his tongue. Harm, I was lucky enough to pick it up. Yi Junlin waved his hand. Everyone looked at each other, speechless. Is the nascent soul stage so worthless these days? You mean you can pick it up by picking it up? Chapter 10. C10 The leader of the demon cult cries. Although everyone was shocked by Yi Junlin's skill in wandering around and casually picking up a nascent soul monk as his apprentice, after all, he was still one of his own, so he was still very happy to have Hong Chenny join him. After all, this means that Xuantian sect's strength has grown again. After everyone dispersed, Yi Junlin took Hong Chenny to Piaomiao Peak. You are the chief disciple of my master, so you can choose any cave here, don't be polite. Yi Junlin said seriously. Hong Chenny looked at the dilapidated cave full of spider webs. The muscles in the corners of her eyes were twitching. After a while, she squeezed out a sentence, thank you master. It is no exaggeration to say that even the place where the fire worship demon cult's handyman disciples live is better than the environment here. Ahem, it's a little dirty. Just clean it up yourself. Remember, only the weak complain about the environment, while the strong have often learned to adapt. Yi Junlin spoke earnestly and sincerely. After saying that, he disappeared with a whoosh. Just run away. Hong Chenny clenched her fists tightly, holding back the anger that was about to burst out. She gritted her teeth and said, it's okay, I can bear it. Those who achieve great things must first endure humiliation and bear the burden. Since you choose to become a disciple, you must learn to adapt to this new identity. Next, the news about Xuantian sect's destruction of Fengli sect instantly swept through the Wangzhou like a storm. What? Fengli sect was destroyed? Damn it, where did Xuantian sect get its skills? It was ranked last among the 6 sects. Have you heard that the master of Piaomiao Peak of Xuantian sect back then was not actually abolished in cultivation? Just today, the nascent soul level Qingpeng Demon King led his tribe to attack, and he was killed by him. Quote. It turns out that he has broken through the nascent soul a long time ago. No wonder Xuantian sect is so strong. This boy has such a terrible character, and he can actually hide it for so long. If you ask me, Fengli sect is really unlucky. It happened to provoke others at this time. Tisk, tisk, everyone will die now. All parties were having heated discussions, obviously frightened by this sudden incident. Especially the other 4 sects were very wary of Xuantian sect and did not dare to look down upon them. A nascent soul is not much to say, but in a remote place like Wangzhou, he is an overlord-level powerhouse. Enough to protect a force for thousands of years. HMPH, if it hadn't been for the invasion of the Qingpeng Demon King, how long would the master of Piaomiao Peak have wanted to hide? Although nascent soul is very strong, in the eyes of my Banshan sect, it is not your arrogance capital. The leader of the Banshan sect, known as the strongest sect in Wangzhou, sneered with his hands behind his back. Just because the ancestor of the Banshan sect was the ceiling of the nascent soul realm in his early years. He has been in seclusion all these years just to attack the gods. If successful, the Banshan sect will completely dominate Wangzhou. Same moment, King Zhou is the leader of Daozhou in the eastern region. There are numerous cultivating families, immortal dynasties, and cultivating sects here. The Yuhua sect is recognized as the supreme holy land, respected and worshipped by hundreds of millions of people, and has continued its glory for millions of years. In a certain ancestral temple, there were densely packed spiritual tablets enshrined. Among them was a spiritual tablet that had already cracked into pieces, which scared a disciple who woke up from his sleep and turned pale with fear. Oh my god, this is Mu Lao's. To know, Mu Lao is the outer elder of the Yuhua sect. He is quite prestigious in the outer sect. He is proficient in earth-level magical powers and is the best among the elders of the outer sect. Who would have thought that he would suddenly die like this? Soon, the news of Mu Lao's death was reported to the top of the sect. The top leaders of the sect were furious. Who was Fang Sheng so bold? How dare you attack the elders of Yuhua sect? Everyone is very angry. As a member of the Yuhua sect, no one from all walks of life dares to mess with anyone who walks out on weekdays. They are treated like a master. Now one of their elders was out on business and was killed without any reason. On the towering fairy peak, there was a middle-aged man wearing a golden robe. His eyes opened and closed, and the golden light pierced the sky. It was extremely frightening. He had thick golden hair, braided into small braids, with only hundreds of strands hanging down on his chest and back. People are filled with an aura of unfathomable terror. This is Lord Juyong. Master, it's all my fault. It was my disciple who entrusted Mr. Mu to deliver the elixir to my father. A handsome man wearing a robe with a blazing sun pattern knelt on his knees, lowered his head and admitted his mistake. Chen Xiao, Chen Yunhai's son. Get up, it's not your fault. Lord Juyong slowly raised his hand, and an invisible force lifted Chen Xiao up. Thank you, Master, for your forgiveness. Chen Xiao's eyes changed and he stopped talking. If you have anything to ask, just say it. Venerable Juyong said calmly. Chen Xiao said in a deep voice, Mu Lao's death has made my disciple worried. I always feel that my father's sect will be implicated, so I really want to go to Wangzhou to see it in person. Venerable Juyong shook his head. Xiaoer, do you know why I accept you as my disciple? Is it because this disciple has a sun-immortal body? Does he have the appearance of becoming an immortal? Chen Xiao said. In the world of cultivation, in addition to spiritual roots, a monk's physique is also very important. A strong physique can display considerable combat power, or make rapid progress in practice. The physiques in this world are divided into spiritual body, true body, precious body, fairy body and holy body. And Chen Xiao is pregnant with the sun-immortal body, which attracts the Yuhua sect's great attention. The Juyong master had no expression on his face. This is the first reason. The second reason is that I see a huge ambition in you. How can you, who longs to become stronger, be troubled by this little bit of family affection? The day of the true disciple competition is approaching. You must prepare early. As long as you defeat other true disciples and win the championship, the sect will increase resources to you. This is a real benefit. But, no buts. As for Fengli sect, I will send someone to Wangzhou to check it out. Hearing this, Chen Xiao had to dispel his doubts and bowed. Disciple will definitely live up to master's expectations. Then, he turned and left. The Juyong master said coldly, come on, go to Wangzhou to see what's going on. In the void, a low voice suddenly came, yes. Xuantian sect, Piao Miao Peak. The remaining smoke curled up, and a burst of meat fragrance came out. Hong Chenny grilled the lamb skewers skillfully, controlling the heat while sprinkling special spices at the right time. The lamb skewers were tender and juicy, sizzling. Glancing at the silver-haired young man lying on the recliner in the sun behind him, Hong Chenny's face looked a little ugly. He was a giant of the magic way who once caused bloody storms in the central region and controlled the lives of hundreds of millions of creatures. If someone recited his title, even a crying baby would stop crying. Now, he is doing odd jobs in a second-rate sect. If his former mortal enemy knew about this, he would definitely laugh until tears came out. Eat, 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 what's delicious? This seat really can't understand. After all, he is a cultivator in the god transformation realm, but he would actually covet such a desire for food. How shallow, Hong Chenny secretly complained. Zhao Hong, are you done? Your master can't wait. A voice came from behind. Okay, master, I'll bring it to you right away. Hong Chenny put dozens of mutton skewers on a plate and presented them to Yi Junlin, who was enjoying the fruits of his labor. Yi Junlin leaned back comfortably on the chair, picked up a fragrant mutton skewer, and ate it with relish. During this period, there was no need to practice at all, just lie down and sign in, and the magical powers and techniques would be automatically practiced, which was very impressive. Besides, because there were too many rewards for signing in, most of them were quite useless, so he simply gave some of them to Shu Union and others to improve their strength, which made everyone excited and grateful. Ding, may I ask the honorable host, are you satisfied with the secret barbecue seasoning rewarded by this system? Closing square bracket. The system's lowly voice came from his mind. It's okay, this taste reminds me of my hometown, where there is a city famous for barbecue. Ding, as long as the host is satisfied. Close black lens bracket. Yi Junlin looked at Hong Chenny standing next to him and pursed his lips. Hey, you have one too, don't be polite. Hong Chenny shook his head. Master, I have already achieved complete fasting, and I have no interest in the food in the world. Hey, if cultivating immortals is like this, what's the point? You listen to me and eat as much as you can. Yi Junlin shook his head. No, master, I really have no interest. Hong Chenny felt very contemptuous and thought that Yi Junlin was a strange flower in the world of cultivation. Damn, you don't give me face, right? I asked you to eat, so you eat. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Yi Junlin stared. Little guy, I can't cure you. Hong Chenny. Finally, at Yi Junline's request, Hong Chenny picked up a kebab with inner repulsion, smelled it first, and then bit the meat into his mouth with disgust. Boom! In an instant, the incomparable explosion of deliciousness hit his taste buds crazily. As he chewed the red thousand leaves carefully, he felt an indescribable wonderful feeling in his heart. For a moment, his whole body shook as if it were an electric shock, and he felt that his soul was about to leave his body, floating in the air. I don't know why, perhaps it touched on the deep memories of his childhood. The eyes of this murderous demon cult leader were wet. 2 lines of tears silently slid down. Good, so delicious. Chapter 11, C11 Find out the real culprit behind the scenes. Damn it, as for that, why are you still crying? Yi Junline was stunned, patted Hong Chenny on the shoulder, and said sympathetically, it's okay, if it's delicious, eat more. It's really pitiful, how long has it been since you've had meat? Hong Chenny had mixed feelings in her heart. He was born very humble. When he was a child, he was always hungry and dreamed of eating a piece of meat. Later, he accidentally stepped into the path of cultivating immortals. From then on, he struggled hard and plundered cultivation resources by any means. In the end, live your life as a ruthless demonic giant. At this time, after Hong Chenny ate this delicacy in the world, this childhood memory came to mind. Combined with the ups and downs of cultivating immortality in this life, the emotions deep in her heart suddenly burst out. Yes, if the cultivation of immortality is like this, like a clay sculpture that does not eat the fireworks of the world, and has abandoned even the simplest desires of food and drink, then what is the power of cultivating immortality? Hong Chenny's state of mind has undergone a huge change. The idea suddenly becomes clear. Boom! Hong Chenny's cultivation level began to soar, from the early stage of nascent soul, to the middle stage, to the late stage, to its peak, and to perfection. Then, keep breaking through. In an instant, the terrifying momentum spread unbridled. One thought turns into a god. Fortunately, Piao Miao Peak raised a shielding formation in time, so it did not cause panic in Xuantian sect. Damn, this is okay. Yi Junline was stunned, but thinking that this person was in the true immortal realm before, but now he is just practicing again to make up for his previous flaws, so it is understandable that his cultivation has improved so quickly. At this moment, Hong Chenny's state is still at the early stage of becoming a god. There was a flash of surprise in his eyes, but he soon regained his composure. Despite the ups and downs in his life, he would not be complacent because of this achievement. We are still far away from the goal in our hearts. Yi Junline said happily. Xiao Hong, congratulations on your breakthrough to become a god. I am really happy for you, my master. Your cultivation is almost catching up with my master. Hong Chenny's pair of pink and phoenix eyes narrowed slightly, and a cold glimmer flashed under her eyes. Now, his cultivation level has reached the level of God transformation, and with the 3000 Flame Sutra he has cultivated, his explosive combat power is absolutely terrifying. Hong Chenny is confident that even if she can't be invincible, she may be almost the same. Is he going to fall out? Just as Hong Chenny was thinking, a voice interrupted his thoughts. Why are you standing there? Eat. Yi Junline picked up a mutton skewer and handed it over, urging. Hong Chenny took it hesitantly, lowered his head and ate silently, this idea growing like weeds in his heart. After eating, Yi Junline took out a toothpick and put it in his mouth. Xiao Hong, come and squeeze my teacher's shoulders. Hong Chenny sneered and said nothing. Instead, she walked around behind Yi Junline, slowly stretched out her white hands, put them on her shoulders and kneaded them. Aren't you full? Be stronger. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, it's comfortable. Yi Junline's face was full of contentment, enjoying everything calmly. Hong Chenny's eyes changed one after another, and her hands extended silently, as if to strangle the silver-haired young man's neck. With his temperament, he has never liked to be dependent on others. The reason why he agreed to become Yi Junline's apprentice was just because of the situation. The most important thing was that he wanted to explore Yi Junline's secrets. But during this period, apart from the other party's strange behavior and habits, there was nothing worth digging into. Therefore, Hong Chenny, who didn't want to be manipulated anymore, thought of simply subduing Yi Junline and asking him where he got the skills and elixirs. In this way, you can not only get the answer, but also get rid of your identity as a disciple. Certainly, after it's done, Hong Chenny will not kill Yi Junline. Although he is a demonic monk who kills people like crazy, Yi Junline has a life-saving grace for him. The best he can do is cast a spell to make him forget everything that happened before, and then decisively leave Xuantian sect and start a new journey. Yi Junline was enjoying himself comfortably, as if he was not aware of the approaching danger. My surname is Yi. I am not something that a mere god like you can control. This ridiculous master-disciple relationship begins today. Hong Chenyi's pretty face was covered with frost, and he was so resolute that he was about to start ruthlessly. At this moment, a sound-transmitting flying sword flew across the sky, dragging a bright stream of light into the Piao Miao Peak. Junior brother Yi, please come to the meeting hall as soon as possible. There is a new situation to deal with. On the sound transmission flying sword, the sect leader Shu Yunyan's serious voice sounded. Yi Junlin opened his eyes, stretched his waist and stretched his muscles. It seems that I have to go there. The action was interrupted, and Hong Chenyi hesitated. He could also fall out now, but there would always be a voice in his heart reminding him not to do this. The consequences will be very serious. Hong Chenyi, who has become an immortal, is more alert than most monks, because sometimes one decision can change one's own destiny. Now, facing an opponent who seems to be full of flaws, a strong warning sign arises in Hong Chenyi's heart. Does this guy have any trump cards? Hong Chenyi hesitated. Zhao Hong, as a teacher, I will go over first. Your technique is very comfortable. When you come back, help me beat my legs. Yi Junlin put down these words, flew into the air and disappeared into the sky. Hear the words. Hong Chenyi was so angry that her nose was crooked. Are you really treating me as a servant? He regretted it. You should have been decisive just now. Just strangle this shameless thing to death. Mid-air. Yi Junlin's silver hair was flying, and a playful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Yi Junlin naturally knew about Hong Chenyi's little moves, and they were all under his control. To know, his great void technique has been practiced to perfection by automatically hanging up. If danger does occur, Yi Junlin can guarantee that even at such a close distance, he can escape instantly and then suppress it with his absolute strength. This is also why he acted so calmly throughout the whole process. The meeting hall, sect leader Shu Yunyan and other peak masters were discussing. Seeing the silver-haired young man flying in from outside the hall, Shu Yunyan said cheerfully, Junior brother Yi, you are here. His realm has reached the nascent soul stage, his aura has become thicker and thicker, and there is a faint flash of terrifying lightning in his eyes. Shu Yunyan was very grateful to Yi Junlin. He not only changed the fate of Xuantian sect, but also gave him a rare thunder attribute heaven level skill, which made him more accomplished in thunder attribute skills. Junior brother Yi, the master of Hidden Sword Peak and others were smiling. Their cultivation has improved greatly, and they are only one step away from the nascent soul. And because they have better skills to practice, their strength is far better than before, so they have great respect for Yi Junlin. Everyone, did the sect encounter any difficulties? Yi Junlin asked. Shu Yunyan said in a deep voice. A few years ago, the Wei state, which was protected by our Xuantian sect, sent a message asking for help to the sect, claiming that strange things were happening all over the country, and people were dying one after another in various places. The deaths were extremely weird, and the bodies all of them were drained of blood, and it was initially determined that a monster was at work. Later, I sent a group of disciples to go find out the situation, but there was no news from all of them and they have not returned yet. This phenomenon has also intensified in Wei State, and there have even been horrific phenomena where many cities with a population of 1 million have been reduced to death. Quote, this is not over yet. According to rumors, this situation has also begun to occur in the countries around Wei State. It has begun to spread in the barren states, and the victims all died in the same way. I think if this continues, Guangzhou may be in chaos, and the number of disciples recruited by Xuantian sect in the future will inevitably drop off a cliff. This is a result that no one wants to see. Hear the words. Yi Junlin frowned. So evil. Didn't anyone see who did it? Shu Yunyan shook his head. Perhaps all the people he saw are dead, leaving only corpses drained of blood on the ground. For a cultivation sect, if it cannot recruit suitable disciples every year, it will gradually show a situation of inactivity and gradually die out over a long period of time. Therefore, all sects attach great importance to the mortal kingdom, because almost all of their disciples are recruited from here. If you are lucky, you can also pick out good seedlings. If left unchecked, a vicious cycle will form. The sect leader Shu Yunyan understands this truth best. Because he came from an ordinary small mountain village 200 years ago. At that time, he happened to be selected by the elders of Xuantian sect, and then he started this journey of cultivating immortality. Yi Junlin muttered. According to what you just said, the phenomenon started in Wei State a few years ago, and it is the most serious now. So the root cause must be here, and we should start to solve it from here. According to memory, the Wei State was also called the Great Wei Dynasty, with a population of 80 million. There were at least hundreds of countries like it in the Guangzhou. If this kind of weird phenomenon is allowed to spread all over the deserted state, this land will definitely be devastated and completely reduced to a place of extinction. At this time, the little cute system prompt sounded. Ding, trigger a new mission and go to Wei State to solve the root cause of the crisis. After completing the mission, you will receive unimaginable rewards. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 12, C12 Scissors Paper Scissors to decide life and death. Tongzi, you are really perceptive. Ding, it's okay. Closing square bracket. Yi Junlin shrugged. Anyway, he was almost moldy staying in the mountain for a while, so he could go out and play, and take the cheap apprentice with him. Well, I also think the root cause is in Wei State. Shu Yunian nodded. Master, how about this, I will go there myself and solve this matter. Yi Junlin said. Swish. All eyes in the hall were focused on Yi Junlin. Shu Yunian stroked his beard and smiled. Junior brother Yi is more direct. If you go, I believe this matter can be solved quickly. Okay, see you later. Yi Junlin left the hall. Looking at the receding figure, the leader of Kangjian Peak said with some worry, well, can junior brother Yi really handle it? You are such a blockhead. In this small wasteland state, what else can be difficult for a god to be transformed? The leader of Tianxiang Peak rolled his eyes. In the wasteland state, the god means invincibility. If even he can't handle it, then this wasteland state is really hopeless. Shu Yunian's smile gradually faded, and he said seriously, everyone, hurry up to practice, don't think too much about other things, don't let junior brother Yi down. Yes, everyone responded. In the East region, the wasteland state is very small, and its location is very remote. It is called a remote place by cultivators in other states. But, this is what the cultivation world says. In the eyes of mortals, the wasteland state is boundless. From one country to another, even if you travel by boat and horse, it will take at least 2 or 3 months. If it is far, you can't even reach it in this lifetime. The sky with rolling clouds and mist. 2 figures passed by like flowing light, one in front and one behind. Yi Junlin hummed a tune and admired the beautiful mountains and rivers in the distance. Hong Chenny stared at the back, thinking of the things that happened in Piaomiao Peak before, and felt more and more aggrieved in his heart. Forget it, there are plenty of opportunities on the road. When you fall into my hands, I will definitely make you look good. Yi Junlin had a faint smile on his lips, and he could clearly feel that the guy behind him had a lot of resentment. Haha, it seems that you are very unconvinced. In that case, I will slowly train you. Not long after, they came to the sky above the Great Wei Dynasty. Looking around, large and small cities are scattered in an orderly manner. The common people are like ants, looking very small. From the moment of birth, fate is almost decided. Some people live in luxury, enjoy wealth and splendor, some people live in poverty, eat coarse food, some people work hard and finally become seriously ill. In this world, only cultivating immortals can change fate. There seems to be something going on down there. Yi Junlin narrowed his eyes. Hong Chenny looked over and said casually, oh, it looks like a group of horse bandits are looting a village. He has long been accustomed to such things. Really, go down and take a look. As he said, Yi Junlin's expression moved and he flew towards the village. Boring. Hong Chenny curled his lips and had to follow behind. At this time, Taohua village, the flames shot up to the sky and the smoke filled the air. Many villagers were driven to the open space in the center of the village by horse bandits like animals. Those who were disobedient and tried to escape were all killed by the vicious bandits. Sobbing, crying, and begging for mercy sounded in this originally peaceful and harmonious village. Heroes, our village is a well-known poor place. We only have chickens, ducks, cattle and sheep that we raise on weekdays. If you want to take them all. Don't hurt the innocent people in the village. The head of Taohua village, with white hair, stepped forward on crutches and pleaded. Go to hell. A bandit kicked impatiently, and the village chief screamed and fell to the ground, lying on the ground spitting blood. There were a total of 100 bandits in this group of bandits. They were fierce, holding sharp long knives, and drove hundreds of villagers together. The villagers were terrified, and men, women, old and young were full of fear. Village leader, they are all here. A younger brother said respectfully. The leader of the Black Wind village rode a tall horse and walked out of the team with a calm temperament. Surprisingly, this bandit leader was not a rough man, but a scholar. At first glance, he looked like a teacher in a private school. The leader of the Black Wind village looked down with a condescending look, his face calm as usual. Among them, he saw a young man and woman in the crowd, wearing eye-catching red clothes, obviously a couple who were about to enter the bridal chamber. The leader of the Black Wind village sneered, pointed at the two people, and ordered in a tone, "Drag them out for me." "Yes, leader." Several younger brothers immediately stepped forward. "No, let me go, let me go." The newlyweds were pushed to the ground. Their eyes were full of fear, and they were worried about their own fate. The leader of the Black Wind village jumped off his horse, walked to the bride, lifted her chin, looked directly at her tender and pretty face, and said with a smile, "She is quite pretty. Spare me, spare my life." The woman said fearfully, "Let my wife go, don't touch her." The man thought of something, his eyes were bloodshot. The villagers knew it well, and lowered their heads to not bear to look. Who would have thought? The leader of the Black Wind village asked, "Do you love your man?" The woman was stunned. She didn't expect that the bandit leader would suddenly ask this question. The woman nodded gently, "Yes." The leader of the Black Wind village turned to look at the man, "Then do you love her?" The man looked honest and sincere. Facing the question from the leader of the Black Wind village, he shouted excitedly, "Of course I love her. She and I have been childhood sweethearts since we were young. When I grew up, I finally got my wish and married her. I swear to treat her well for the rest of my life." "Brother Tizu." Xiaomei choked with tears. The leader of the Black Wind village was silent for a moment, then raised his hand and pointed at another villager. The men understood and immediately pulled the villager out. In the eyes of countless people in fear, they swung their knives and cut off his neck. Puff! The blood stained the ground red, the skull rolled on the ground, and the face was full of despair. "Ah!" the crowd exclaimed. The head had its eyes wide open, and it died with its eyes wide open. The leader of the Black Wind village smiled playfully, raised his foot and kicked it lightly, and the head rolled in front of the couple who loved each other. Xiaomei was so frightened that she turned pale and dared not look at the dead head. Tizu's face turned pale and his heart was trembling. "You two, I suddenly have a very interesting idea." The leader of the Black Wind village chuckled and said, "You two play rock paper scissors, and the winner will be decided in one round. Whoever loses will die. But, I allow you to discuss it privately for half an incense stick." Hearing this, Tizu and Xiaomei looked at each other, not understanding why they had to do this. The smile of the leader of the Black Wind village gradually cooled, and his tone suddenly became fierce. "What? Don't want to play? Then all of you go to death." "No, no, no, let's play." Tizu spoke quickly, "It's better to die alone than to lose two people." "Well, let's start." The leader of the Black Wind village waved his hand. Tizu immediately pulled Xiaomei to squat at the foot of the wall and said to her seriously, "Xiaomei, I will use my fist and you will use the cloth, and you will survive." Xiaomei's eyes were red and she sobbed. "Brother Tizu, don't do this, I don't want you to die." Tizu showed an honest smile and touched the woman's head. "I said that I will treat you well for the rest of my life. Brother Tizu, we will still be husband and wife in the next life." Xiaomei cried heartbroken. The two leaned on each other and enjoyed the brief tranquility. Half an incense stick passed. A cold voice came, "The time is up, bring them here." Yes, Tizu and Xiaomei were brought to the leader of the Black Wind village by several men. The leader of the Black Wind village said calmly, "When you are ready, let's start." "Wait." Tizu stared at the middle-aged man and mustered up the courage to say, "Are you sure that the winner will be alive?" "Bold, you dare to question our leader?" A younger brother shouted angrily. The leader of the Black Wind village smiled and said, "Of course, I don't want to lie to you." "That's good." Tizu exhaled heavily. He said to Xiaomei in front of him seriously, "Come on." Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the two played rock paper scissors. When the result came out, Tizu was stunned. Xiaomei's pretty face flashed a trace of surprise, and then she cried loudly in fear, "I was wrong, don't kill me, don't kill me." Ha ha ha. The leader of the Black Wind village laughed with his head raised, laughing so hard that tears came out, and the laughter was full of endless ridicule. According to the previous agreement, Tizu did play rock. But Xiaomei played scissors. Chapter 13. C13. Could it be him? Why are you doing this? Do you think I will lie to you? Tizu muttered to himself, his worldview collapsed. His sincerity was all thrown away. Woo, I was wrong, I won't dare to do it again. Xiaomei knelt on the ground crying and begged, "Brother Tizu, save me. I really don't want to die." The leader of the Black Wind village shook his head and sighed, "I also had a childhood sweetheart. She and I were innocent and promised to get married and have children, and grow old together. At that time, I secretly swore that I must pass the imperial examination and marry her in a sedan chair. It's a pity that I didn't pass the imperial examination, so I can only go to a private school as a poor scholar. Teaching to earn some money. Quote. Until that time I failed the exam, my wedding date with her was postponed. I foolishly thought that she was not ready, and I still cared about her until a kind servant secretly told me that the bitch had been flirting with the young master of the Su family. Quote. I realized that she had changed her mind a long time ago. At this point, the middle-aged man with a handsome face seemed to recall the unbearable scene, his eyes were full of scarlet bloodshot, and his tone contained deep hatred. I ran to question her, but I ran into this couple having an affair in the house. The leader of the Black Wind village remembered that after the couple was caught having an affair, the young master of the Su family was furious and ordered his men to hold him down and force him to continue to perform absurd things in front of him. He will never forget the scene of his beloved woman enjoying herself in another man's lap and screaming wildly. See, this is the woman you swore to give her a lifetime of happiness. The leader of the Black Wind village stretched out his finger, poked Tizu's forehead, and said gloatingly. Tizu was in a state of dismay, like a walking corpse. As for Xiaomei, she was chopped off her head by the butcher knife dropped by the horse bandits while crying, and blood splattered high. The villagers were silent and dared not move at all. In the distance, two tall figures stood on the top of the mountain. Witnessing the whole process, Hong Chenny hugged his hands and raised a playful arc at the corner of his mouth. Interesting, I like this scene. Yi Junlin frowned, always feeling that this Black Wind village leader was not as simple as he seemed, there must be something strange in it. At this time, the Black Wind village leader put away his thoughts of playing. It's time to get down to business. He put his fingers together and pointed at Tizu. Tizu's eyes lost focus and he fell to the ground and fell into a coma. According to the agreement, I won't kill you, but others, haha. The Black Wind village leader's aura surged. His eyes glowed blood red, and he looked at a large group of villagers kneeling on the ground, with a cruel smile on his lips. Get out of the way, the village leader is about to use his magic. The bandits around him retreated one after another, their faces full of awe. They knew that the village leader was about to start eating. Shua shua shua, dense blood lines burst out from his chest, piercing the villagers as if they were spiritual. Then, one after another, men, women, old and young, their bodies shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye, and a large amount of blood essence flowed into the chest of the Black Wind village leader. Yes, that's it. As long as I absorb it thoroughly, I will be sure to break through from chi training to foundation building. The Black Wind village leader felt the changes in his body and said excitedly. Help, don't kill me. Mom, I'm scared. Someone come to save us. Monster. This is a monster. Screams and wails came one after another. Sure enough, there is a problem. Yi Junlin's eyes flashed with brilliance. According to the strange phenomena that have occurred in Wei State in recent years, this is a disaster that someone deliberately caused. Of course, the leader of the Black Wind village, with his strength, is definitely not the mastermind behind the scenes, and should also be the kind of person who was bewitched. This evil skill. Hong Chenny was shocked. The evil skill that the other party used was very similar to the old man he knew in his memory. But, as early as 200 years ago, he died under the siege of the major holy places in the central region. Hong Chenny frowned, and his eyes kept changing. Remember that person's methods were very evil, and he was as famous as him back then. Yi Junlin caught a glimpse of Hong Chenny's strange expression, raised his eyebrows and said, Do you know this technique? Hong Chenny shook his head and denied it directly, No. Hee. Yi Junlin smiled and did not continue to ask. Swish, he disappeared on the spot. The next moment, Yi Junlin appeared beside the leader of the Black Wind village, raised his hand and patted his shoulder gently, sighing. Little brother, there is a reason for the grievance, but it is wrong for you to come here and kill innocent people. The leader of the Black Wind village was enjoying the suction, and suddenly there was another person next to him, which scared him so much that he said angrily, Who the hell are you? Bang! Yi Junlin's palm exerted a powerful force. Crack, crack! The leader of the Black Wind village knelt on the ground, his bones were almost broken, and he wailed in pain, Ah! After the spell was interrupted, the remaining villagers survived and watched all this in shock. Village chief. The bandits around were stunned. This silver-haired young man who suddenly appeared was like a god descending from heaven, suppressing the village chief who was usually invincible in their eyes with one hand. Tell me, where did you get the evil skills you practiced from? Yi Junlin said. Chen Shuya had a bitter look on his face. He knew that he was unlucky this time. He actually met a powerful cultivator. Forced by the situation, he had to tell his origins. It turned out that when Chen Shuya discovered the adultery of the couple, the young master of the Su family used his family's connections to make it impossible for him to survive in the local area. He was forced to leave his hometown and was later recruited by a group of strange people to teach him this terrible technique. But the requirement was that he must do whatever it takes to improve his cultivation. Chen Shuya, whose temperament changed drastically, began to kill innocent people crazily. Later, he returned to his hometown and killed the couple. After the incident was exposed, Chen Shuya was chased by several Wei Kingdom cultivators and fled in embarrassment and became a bandit. It seems that there is a huge organization behind this. Selflessly teach others the skills. The requirements are very simple, that is, let the recipients constantly devour the essence and blood to improve their cultivation. Zhao Hong, what do you think about this? Looking at the red-robed figure slowly descending from the sky, Yi Junlin said meaningfully. Everyone looked at Hong Chenny with amazement in their eyes. What a beautiful girl, just like a fairy. Hong Chenny's face was calm, and a storm was rising in her heart. This snowball-like way of passing on the skills is really too much like that person's style. Is he really still alive? Master, I don't know. Hearing this answer, Yi Junlin shook his head. He raised his hand and placed it on Chen Shuya's head. Begin to search his soul roughly. Chen Shuya's face was painful, his eyes rolled back, and he felt that his brain was about to be sucked out. Faintly, Yi Junlin saw a scene. Several strange black-robed men stood up. The leader stretched out his hand to teach Chen Shuya the skills, and then the scene stopped and fell into darkness. Bang! Chen Shuya fell to the ground, completely out of breath. Let's go, Yi Junlin said. Snap! Hong Chenny snapped his fingers. In an instant, all the bandits were on fire. The raging fire burned quickly, they screamed miserably, their eyes were full of intense fear. Soon, they were all burned to ashes. Such a magical method. The villagers present were stunned. Yi Junlin frowned. Master, did my disciple do something wrong? Don't these bandits deserve to die? Hong Chenny asked with doubts. Yi Junlin coughed lightly. Well done. A hint of pride flashed in Hong Chenny's eyes. It had been a long time since he had killed so many people, so he just wanted to take the opportunity to have some fun. Just then, someone took the lead and shouted, Fairy, you fight against violence and protect the good, and you uphold justice for the heavens. We in Taohua village will thank you for generations. Thank you, Fairy. The villagers worshipped one after another. Fairy, hearing this title, Hong Chenny was so angry that her pretty face twisted, and she raised her hand to burn these fools to death. Suddenly, her wrist was grabbed by a big hand. Yi Junlin smiled. My good disciple, did they deserve to die too? For some reason, this smile inexplicably gave people a cheap feeling. Hong Chenny was very angry, but he knew that he had to endure it now. After a moment, Hong Chenny forced a stiff smile. Master, you misunderstood, I actually wanted to wave goodbye to them. Chapter 14, C-14 Continue to train the leader of the demon cult. That's good. Yi Junlin looked relieved. Then, the two of them left in the cheers. Hong Chenny looked indignant, and in his heart he had already cursed Yi Junlin's ancestors for 18 generations. In the court, the Emperor of Wei, dressed in a dragon robe, sat on the dragon chair, looking at the memorials presented by the ministers. His old face was full of solemnity, and his brows were deeply wrinkled. The civil and military officials lowered their heads, and the atmosphere was very depressing. After a long time, a helpless sigh came. The Emperor of Wei threw away the memorial in his hand, rubbed his eyebrows, and said bitterly, if this goes on, my great country will be destroyed by evil spirits. The death toll on this memorial was shocking. Originally, the Great Wei dynasty had a population of 80 million, which has dropped by more than 30 million in the past few years, and the trend is getting worse. The people in the country are panicked and turbulent. In this regard, the court is helpless and anxious. Your Majesty, we in Wei have the support of Xuantian sect. I believe the immortal master there will not ignore it. A minister comforted. Xuantian sect. The Emperor of Wei shook his head and smiled bitterly, with a look of disappointment. A few years ago, Xuantian sect also sent a team to investigate the situation, but that team disappeared not long after arriving in Wei. Later, he could only watch as the situation became more and more serious. And Xuantian sect has never been heard from since that time. Can Wei still rely on such a sect? Father! Father! A silver bell-like shout rang out. Outside the court, a little princess about 13 years old ran in. Her skin was delicate and white. Looking at her pretty face, she was definitely a beauty. Ling why are you? The Emperor of Wei was puzzled. This was his most beloved little daughter. If someone else was so reckless, they would have dragged her down and chopped off her head long ago. The little princess waved a letter in her hand, with a joyful smile on her face. It's my second brother, there's news from my second brother. It's the second prince. The ministers were surprised. The second son of the Emperor of Wei was selected by the immortal master of Xuantian sect in his early years. He has been staying in Xuantian sect for these years. This is well known in the court. You know, the immortal sect has always valued qualifications when recruiting disciples. Even if you are a descendant of a prince, general, or royal noble, it's useless if your qualifications don't meet the standards. In addition, Xuantian sect is very strict in selecting disciples, and prohibits all kinds of activities such as relatives and friends. So, when the second prince was selected, the Emperor of Wei was so happy that he directly pardoned the world that year, and the whole world celebrated. But in these years, the second prince was obsessed with cultivating immortals and gradually cut off contact with the state of Wei. Now, a letter was suddenly sent, which surprised all the ministers. Let me see what the letter says. The Emperor of Wei took the letter from his daughter and opened it to read. When he saw the content of the letter, the Emperor of Wei couldn't help but open his eyes wide, his face was excited, and he clapped his hands and laughed. Ha ha ha, great. This move made the ministers look at each other in surprise. Your Majesty, you are. The Emperor of Wei said excitedly. My son said in the letter that Xuantian sect attaches great importance to the strange phenomena in Wei state. It is very likely that this time the master of Piao Peak will be sent to solve it personally. Let us be patient and wait for good news. Hearing this, the civil and military officials were excited. Although they were ordinary people, they were in high positions and had channels to receive news about the competition between the major sects in Guangzhou. It is rumored that Xuantian sect was able to destroy Fengli sect because of the master of Piao Peak, Yi Junlin. That was a great cultivator in the nascent soul stage. With the terrifying power of moving mountains and filling the sea, he was no different from an immortal in the eyes of the secular world. And now, this Lord Yifeng is about to come in person to help Wei overcome the difficulties. How can they not be excited? The Emperor of Wei was very pleased. This was the most exciting news he had heard in the past few years. Ling our Wei is saved. The Emperor of Wei picked up the little princess and kissed her face again and again. Hee hee, the little princess smiled with curved eyebrows and a very cute expression. Suddenly, a guard ran in a panic. Your Majesty, there are two immortals coming outside. It must be the immortal master of Xuantian sect. My dear ministers, follow me to greet them quickly. The Emperor of Wei said in surprise. In the palace, colorful clouds filled the sky. In the countless shocked eyes, two figures covered with auspicious rays of light fell on the square. Zhao Hong, do you think that your teacher's choice of appearance like this is very impressive? Yi Junlin said proudly with his hands behind his back. He just wanted to make a big scene to lure the snake out of its hole. Hong Chenny glanced at Yi Junlin with disdain, and secretly said in her heart, childish. But on the surface, she still politely bowed. Master is wise, and I think so too. Welcome to the immortal master. In the palace, Emperor Wei led all the civil and military officials to rush out and kneel down to worship Yi Junlin and Hong Chenny. For them, this is an immortal who can destroy the world and is not bound by all the rules of the secular world. The Emperor Wei carefully looked at the silver-haired young man, and his joy was even greater. According to the description in the letter, the master of Piao Peak has a signature long silver-white hair, which perfectly matches the image characteristics of the person in front of him. It seems that this is Master Yi. The eyes shifted to Hong Chenny, and the Emperor Wei's heart was shocked. Even though he has 3,000 beauties in his harem, compared with this woman, they are simply worlds apart. This is the most beautiful thing in the world. Emperor Wei sighed secretly. After all, he was accompanying Yi Junlin. Of course, he didn't dare to think anything wrong. He even felt that looking at her more would be blasphemy against this fairy. Ahem, Yi Junlin cleared his throat, and his majestic voice continued to echo in all directions through the infusion of mana. I am here this time to solve the crisis in Wei State. You don't have to worry anymore. On behalf of the people of Wei State, I would like to thank the immortal. Emperor Wei shouted excitedly. In the palace, everyone who looked around was kneeling on the ground, placing their hopes on Yi Junlin. Everyone, get up. Yi Junlin raised his hand, and an invisible force spread, gently lifting Wei Di and the others from the ground. Exalted immortal, if you have any requests, just ask. Emperor Wei said respectfully. Arrange a place for my master and apprentice to live. This way please. Emperor Wei stretched out his hand and secretly glanced at Hong Chenny who was passing by. It turned out that this fairy was the disciple of the Supreme Immortal. The little princess hid behind Emperor Wei, looking at Hong Chenyi's beautiful face, and secretly said in her heart. This sister is so beautiful. I wish I could be as beautiful as her when I grow up. From the beginning to the end, Hong Chenyi's face was cold, and she didn't even bother to look at this group of people. In his eyes, the Wei Emperor, the civil and military officials, and even the people of the entire Wei state were all ants, with no difference at all. He only came because he wanted to find out the true identity of the culprit behind the scenes. Jingtai Palace. The palace is magnificent, warm in winter and cool in summer. This place was built by Emperor Wei, who spent huge sums of money and spent many years. He liked to stay here and enjoy himself on weekdays. Now it is given over to Yi Junlin and Hong Chenyi. Step back, I have something to tell you. It is my honor to serve the immortal. Emperor Wei did not dare to stay any longer and respectfully resigned. Squeak. The coffin is closed. Yi Junlin sat down on the lounge chair made of 1,000-year-old nanmu. He reached out and picked up the grapes in the fruit plate and put them into his mouth, eating them with relish. His careless demeanor at this time was completely opposite to his dignified demeanor just now. Hong Chenyi couldn't bear to look at him. This was the most unscrupulous god-forming monk he had ever encountered. And what made him most speechless was, other monks would basically sit cross-legged and meditate, focusing on their spiritual practice. This guy indulges in eating, drinking and having fun all day long and has no intention of practicing hard at all. How did someone so tired and lazy practice to become a god? HMPH, that's fine. According to this progress, I will soon be able to crush him in terms of cultivation, and I will be more confident when I take action. Hong Chenyi said secretly. If Yi Junlin heard his thoughts, he would laugh unkindly like a goose. Practice hard. Labor and management are directly on the same level. Realm and other things are all dependent on touching porcelain. Kung Fu and magical powers will also be automatically upgraded by hanging up. Tell me, does my hard work work? Say it again. Being able to insist on lying flat is not a kind of effort. At this time, Yi Junlin took off his cloud-patterned combat boots, and suddenly there was a wooden basin under his feet, with steaming warm water in the wooden basin. He put his feet in gently and let out a comfortable moan. Just when Hong Chenyi was even more contemptuous, a voice slowly came into her ears. Zhao Hong, come and wash my master's feet. Hong Chenyi's face froze, and she almost suspected that her ears had heard wrongly. Veins suddenly burst out on her forehead, and anger arose in her heart. What did you say? I am the leader of the fire-worshipping demon cult, and I actually want to wash the feet of someone like you. Don't go too far. Hong Chenyi's eyes were full of coldness, and she stood there motionless, ignoring him. Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. Where is the person? Come here. Why? Face questioning. Yi Junlin sighed. Being a teacher for one day and a father for life, isn't that enough? Be good, son, wash daddy's feet quickly. Warm reminder. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error, or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 15. C15 Kill the Yuanying with a flick of the finger. You. Hong Chenyi laughed angrily, and dark red flames rose from her palms. The terrifying flames burned the void, forming ripples. If you repeatedly touch my bottom line, do you really think that I have no temper? Yi Junlin looked directly at the angry young man in front of him with a smile on his face. My disciple is interested, and he just happened to heat the water for me. Seeing that the silver-haired young man was shameless and shameless, Hong Chenyi couldn't bear it anymore, so he decided to break up his shame now. Listen, however, at this moment, an anxious voice came from outside the door. To immortals, I have something important to report about the strange phenomenon that happened in Wei State. Identity. Yi Junlin released his consciousness through the door. I am the eldest prince of Wei. I saw the eldest prince wearing gorgeous brocade clothes, holding his hands respectfully. What's the matter? Tell me. Hearing Yi Junlin's calm voice coming from inside the house, the eldest prince quickly knelt down and said with an uneasy tone. Shangxian, I have never dared to tell my father this secret. I discovered that the evil spirits that create strange phenomena in various places may come from the mountains behind the palace, because that night I accidentally saw several black bats. Monsters fly into the cave secretly, and maids and eunuchs often disappear in the palace. I think it must be related to them. Quote, I have heard about the name of the immortal for a long time, and I know that you have the power to reach the sky. Now only you can save the people of Wei State. I also ask the immortal to take action and kill the bat demon in the back mountain. said. The eldest prince banged his forehead against the ground, his gesture full of sincerity. Oh, Yi Junline's consciousness spread wildly, carefully sweeping the mountains behind the palace. However, nothing unusual was found. But, a long while. The coffin opened. The eldest prince raised his head and saw a young man in black robes walking towards him. His long silver-white hair formed a sharp contrast and hung around his waist, giving off a silvery sheen. I've seen the immortal. Take me to that cave. Yes. The eldest prince stood up quickly, with an imperceptible coldness in his eyes. When looking at Hong Chenny, the coldness was replaced by a touch of greed. After what happened just now, Hong Chenny's face looked as cold as frost, and the scarlet flame mark between her eyebrows added a bit of eccentricity. Looking at Yi Junline's back, Hong Chenny sneered secretly. Forget it, I will settle the score with you later. On the corridor, the little princess hid behind the pillar, leaning her head to watch this scene. When she saw what the eldest prince had done, the little princess's pretty face couldn't believe it. How could eldest brother? Only she, the younger sister, knows how bad her elder brother's daily behavior is. The person that my father is most dissatisfied with is him. Now, this eldest brother with a lot of misdeeds actually dares to meet two immortals from Xuantian sect in private. I have to tell father quickly. The little princess ran away. On the back mountain, overgrown with weeds and jagged rocks. The eldest prince led the way. Yi Junline walked lightly and Hong Chenny frowned, always feeling something was wrong. Arrive. The eldest prince turned around with a strange smile on his face. Where is the cave where the bat demon is staying? Yi Junline said calmly. Idiot, there is no such thing as a bat demon. This is your graveyard, the eldest prince said with a crazy expression. He took out the jade slip and crushed it directly. Aha! A blood-red five-pointed star formation emerged from the ground, emitting waves of terrifying energy fluctuations. The eldest prince was protected by a ball of light and was teleported out instantly. He stood firm and said proudly, Elders, it's your turn to take action. Crash! Distorted fluctuations appeared in the space. 5 figures covered in black robes walked out and flashed in various directions of the five-pointed star formation, forming a siege around Yi Junline and Hong Chenny inside the formation. Under the brim of the hat, there are sinister faces with cruel smiles on the corners of their mouths. Master Yi Feng of Xuantian sect, you have been in the limelight recently. The leader, the one-eyed elder, said in a hoarse voice. We have long guessed that you will come here in person. We have already set up a dragnet. Even you will die. The elder on the other side smiled ferociously. The 5 of them are all nascent soul cultivation level, and the strongest is already in the late nascent soul stage. With this special formation, they are guaranteed to kill any opponent below the level of transformation god. Yi Junline shook his head. Just call your leader out. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you little minions. Yi Junline had long been aware of the eldest prince's tricks, but he didn't take it to heart at all. He was even looking forward to what tricks the mastermind behind the scenes would come up with. As a result, only a few Yuanying old monsters appeared, which made Yi Junline feel a little disappointed. Asshole, how dare you underestimate us? The one-eyed elder shouted angrily. The eldest prince folded his arms, as if watching a play, and sneered, Several elders, kill that man. As for the woman in red, I'll trouble you to destroy her cultivation. I want to enjoy it. Quote. What? Hong Chenny didn't take it seriously at first, but after hearing these words, the anger in her heart surged to the ground, her eyes shot out with a cold light that cracked the sky, and her long black hair danced wildly, as if she was possessed by a ruthless devil. The earth is cracking and the fire is burning. He raised his hand to hold the dark red flames, and shattered the seemingly solid formation with one slap. Puff! The 5 elders vomited blood and retreated as if struck by lightning. Their faces were full of disbelief and horror, and they lost their voices and said, Wah Shen. Are you kidding me? How come Xuantian sect has a transformed god? Hong Chenny ducked in front of the eldest prince, her cold voice was like the ice of Juyu, chilling people to the bone. Do you dare to say it again? The eldest prince's figure was as if he had turned to stone. First he was dumbfounded, and then his face showed fear. He was so frightened that yellow liquid penetrated his crotch. Fairy, please spare my life. Heard this title. Hong Chenny sneered, raised her hand and shot out a stream of fire energy, which penetrated into the eldest prince's body. Ah! The eldest prince let out a heartbreaking howl. His skin was as red as a soldering iron and he was rolling on the ground. The feeling was even more uncomfortable than the top 10 tortures in the Wei Kingdom. It's miserable, it's really miserable. Yi Junline clicked his tongue. Exalted Immortal. At this time, a mighty imperial guard appeared, and Emperor Wei came riding a white horse with the little princess on the horse. The little princess pointed at the eldest prince who was crying and begging for mercy on the ground, and shouted in surprise, "Father, eldest brother is there." Emperor Wei looked at the eldest prince and then at the situation in the field, already having a suspicion in his mind. "You traitor, you actually joined forces with evil cultivators. It's not good for the supreme immortal of Xuantian sect. Are you going to make me angry to death? I've lost all my face to you." Emperor Wei roared angrily. Yi Junlin said jokingly, "Your eldest son is really promising. He colluded with the mastermind behind the scenes to harm the country of Wei. He is really filial." What? Emperor Wei couldn't believe it. It turned out that there had been a thief in his house. "Guizi, why are you doing this? Answer me," he asked with red eyes. Hong Chenny snapped her fingers, and the eldest prince was no longer in so much pain. Facing his father's question, the eldest prince smiled miserably. "Anyway, you old guy, you never thought of passing the throne to me, so why don't I join them? After this is accomplished, I can become the emperor." It's so stupid. Now in the entire Wei kingdom, so many innocent people have lost their lives because of you. If this continues, the entire country will be an empty shell, and there will be no ordinary people. Even if you are the emperor, what's the use of it? Emperor Wei said sadly, "Hee, I don't care anyway, I just want to be the emperor. If those untouchables die, they will die. When the time comes, with their help, I can also embark on the road of cultivating immortals and live happily." The eldest prince said with a cruel smile. You are hopeless." Emperor Wei was so angry that he vomited blood, his eyes full of disappointment. Looking at the 5 frightened elders, Yi Junlin said impatiently, "You still want to deal with me with your little tricks? Call your leader out quickly. We will not betray our master." The one-eyed elder gritted his teeth. "Haha, then go die." Yi Junlin raised his finger and tapped it gently. Bang! An elder's whole body exploded. "The soul is dead." Bang! Another elder exploded into blood mist. Bang! "This is the 3rd place." Yi Junlin downplayed it, saying whoever he pointed at would die. This scene made everyone's scalp numb. Oh my god, who is the one who has been stabbed 1,000 times and said he is nascent soul? This is obviously a transformed god. The one-eyed elder lost his voice. The cultivators of the transformation god realm are well known throughout the eastern region and are the targets of Major Foss's recruitment. There are actually people in this barren state who have cultivated to the point of becoming gods. There are 2 statues at once. Why are you standing there? Run away. The other elder was so frightened that he had no intention of resisting and was about to use his secret method to escape. Just as he disappeared in the blink of an eye and appeared 1,000 meters away, the hairs all over his body stood up and a chill ran down his back. No! Bang! The whole person exploded into blood mist. "You're the only one left." There was a sneer on Yi Junlin's lips, and he pointed his finger towards the last one-eyed elder. The shadow of death shrouded his heart, and beads of sweat broke out on the one-eyed elder's forehead. He had never felt such fear before, and he subconsciously shouted hysterically, "Master, save me." Boom! At this time, the entire huge mountain was shaking violently, and a bloody light pillar about 10 feet wide rose into the sky, shattering even the vast sky. Sensing this familiar aura, Hong Chenny looked in disbelief. "It's really him." Yi Junlin flicked his fingers and said with interest, "Haha, you are the one waiting for me." Window. _tabula equals window. _tabula. Push mode. Thumbs feed 01. Container. Tabula below article thumbnail. 300 times 250 feet. Placement. Below article thumbnail minus 300 times 250 feet. Target _type. Mix. Chapter 16. C16 Perverted Blood Demon. The blood-red light pillar stirred up the wind and clouds, spreading in all directions like ripples. Everyone in the capital of King Wei was frightened by this horrific scene, and they knelt on the ground and did not dare to move. Owner. The one-eyed elder burst into tears with excitement. Within the light pillar, a tall and majestic figure slowly walked out. His face was stern, his blood-red hair was fluttering, and his whole body was filled with a sense of oppression like that of a giant beast. His eyes glanced over with disdain, and when they fell on Hong Chenny, the man's eyes burst out with 2 blazing rays of light. His thin lips moved slightly, and he said in a slightly surprised voice, "Is it you?" Hong Chenny's face changed slightly, but she regained her composure in a blink of an eye, and said calmly, "Long time no see, blood demon, I didn't expect you to still be alive." Shi Tianju's eyes showed a hint of reminiscence, and he said in a self-deprecating tone, "I haven't heard the name blood demon for a long time." "That's right, This person is the blood demon Shi Tianju who fell after being besieged by the major holy places in the central region more than 200 years ago. Just like Hong Chenny, they both aspired to the realm of true immortals. The blood underworld sect he founded was once unparalleled in popularity, even more powerful than the fire-worshipping demon sect. Speaking of Shi Tianju's path to immortality, it can be described as crazy. Not only does he rely on madly devouring human blood to strengthen himself, but he also teaches evil skills to his followers, allowing them to kill innocent people and cause a bloody storm in various places. When the time is right, he will backfire on the believers who practice this method and steal their spiritual power, for results. This snow-like speed spreads across the central region like a virus. Whether they were noble sects or demonic monks, they were all deeply harmed by the blood underworld sect at that time. It is precisely because of this that his realm has improved rapidly, but because his methods are extremely evil, he is not tolerated by both good and evil. In the end, all the top forces united in the crusade, and the isolated blood underworld sect was eradicated. Shi Tianju, known as the blood demon, fell in the battle, and the central territory restored peace for a long time. I just didn't expect that the notorious blood demon was not dead yet, and now he appeared in the most remote barren state in the eastern region. If this news reaches the central territory, it will definitely cause a huge sensation. How did you escape? At that time, many people witnessed with their own eyes that your body was blown apart by several immortal weapons. Even the blood in your body was evaporated. There was no possibility of survival. Hong Chenny asked seriously, "Haha, those self-righteous fools, I have differentiated a drop of my natal blood in advance, cast a spell and hidden it in a hidden place. After I die, that drop of natal blood can make me reborn. It's just a pity that you have to start all over again to cultivate yourself. Even my immortal blood body has to be recast." Shi Tianju's eyes were gloomy. In order to hide from others, I had no choice but to retreat to the eastern region to practice in secret. As a result, it didn't take long before the major holy places in the eastern region were alerted. I thought over and over again and had no choice but to come to this barbaric land and rely on predators. The blood of low-level monks improves their cultivation. Although the progress is very slow, it is more reliable and safe. Quote, "I see," Hong Chenba said. He secretly sighed in his heart. He was indeed the blood demon with the most evil methods. He faked his own death to conceal the truth, and then continued to make trouble. To know, the camp that defeated the blood underworld sect not only had the righteous path, but also the demonic path. It was simply the target of thousands of people, and everyone and the gods were angry. Compared with his encounter, Shi Tianju's difficulty was much higher. Hong Chenny felt that if the positions were reversed, even if he tried his best, he would still die. "It seems that you will suffer the same fate as me." Shi Tianju's eyes flashed, and he could tell that Hong Chenny no longer had the cultivation level of a true immortal. Hee. Hong Chenny didn't elaborate, but the meaning was self-evident. "Master, save me quickly, this bitch is going to kill me." The eldest prince was happier to see Shi Tianju than to see his own father, and cried at the top of his lungs. "You're looking for death." Hong Chenny's eyes turned cold. As soon as he finished speaking, the eldest prince's body suddenly turned into blood mist, which turned into curling smoke and was sucked into Shi Tianju's nose. "Brother." The little princess turned pale with fright. However, Emperor Wei seemed to have aged dozens of years and sighed helplessly. "Hey. Isn't he your apprentice?" Hong Chenny raised her eyebrows. "You're just an ant, what qualifications do you have to be my disciple? Besides, if you want him to die, I will let him die. Don't you still know my friendship for you?" Shi Tianju put his hands behind his back, his extremely eye-catching blood-colored hair fluttering, and looked at Hong Chenny with a little tenderness in his eyes. If this scene were seen by a former rival, his jaw would drop in disbelief. The crazy blood demon can also be emotional. Hong Chenny was helpless. As early as that time in Zhongyu, this person was interested in him. Even if he revealed his true gender and severely refused, the other person still wouldn't give up. "It seems that my apprentice is worthy of being a human spanner. I have broken many straight men over the years." Yi Junlin rubbed his chin and clicked his tongue. In his hand, there was an extra pack of caramel-flavored melon seeds. Yi Junlin ate melon seeds and watched the show silently as a member of the melon-eating crowd. At this time, looking at the tall figure, Hong Chenny shook her head. "It's impossible for you and me." So again, Shi Tianju sighed and said, "In the past 1,000 years, you are the new generation of giants of demons that I admire the most, but you don't give me the slightest chance. It was like this before, and it's still like this now. My patience has come to an end." Boom. The surging and terrifying aura pressed down, and Hong Chenny's body seemed to be carrying a huge mountain, and the surrounding surface cracked and shattered. Hong Chenny said coldly, "Blood demon, what do you mean? Now I urgently need to restore my cultivation. Since I have seen an old friend who has become an immortal, I naturally have to pay special attention to him. Since you have repeatedly rejected my kindness, I have no choice but to kill you and let all your blood flow into my body. In this way, we can be together forever." Shi Tianju raised a cruel arc at the corner of his mouth, and his expression was a bit crazy. "It's perverted enough," Yi Junlin secretly complained. However, he could see that this person's cultivation was similar to his own, and they were both at the peak of the transformation of the spirit. Hong Chenny sneered, "A lunatic. Do you really think you can take me down?" Boom! A powerful aura burst out from his body. The whole person rose into the sky like a dark red comet, and his eyes were as red as gems, with 2 golden flames burning. Countless red flames surrounded his body, burning the endless void. "Don't resist in vain, your cultivation is not as deep as mine," Shi Tianju said lightly. Obviously, he also saw that Hong Chenny was in the early stage of the transformation of the spirit, which was several levels lower than his peak of the transformation of the spirit. Like a cross-level challenge, that is a genius cultivator fighting against an ordinary cultivator. But the problem is that Shi Tianju himself is a genius, so when he saw that Hong Chenny's cultivation was behind him, he immediately felt that this was a sure thing. "Hee, how do you know without fighting?" Hong Chenny's eyebrows were filled with high-spirited fighting spirit, and he secretly circulated the 3000 Flame Sutra, and his aura became particularly terrifying. He pinched his fingers with one hand, and the 5-colored divine fire appeared on his palm, and then threw it towards Shi Tianju. Feeling the power that was far beyond imagination, Shi Tianju's calm face changed, and he said solemnly, "This is." He did not dare to neglect it, and charged a palm. The blood-red palm light was wrapped in a raging blood wave, and there were countless hideous ghost faces in the blood wave, emitting shrill screams. Blood Evil Palm. Sizzle. The blood evil palm touched the 5-colored divine fire and was directly burned to oblivion in the air. The remaining flames swept over, and Shi Tianju's figure was a little embarrassed. It took a lot of effort to put out the fire. Beads of sweat overflowed from his forehead, and he said with lingering fear, "What kind of fire is this? It's so domineering. It actually broke my blood evil palm." Chapter 17. C-17 Master, save me. The fun has just begun. Hong Chenny made a gesture with both hands, and ice-blue flames emerged one after another, and then flew away like an elf. The ice-blue flames froze the void, and the frost spread wildly. Shi Tianju frowned, raised his hand to condense the blood-colored war spear, and stabbed it fiercely with a blood-colored vortex. The whole blood-colored war spear was frozen by the cold air, and even the blood-colored evil spirit showed signs of disappearing. A piercing chill ran along his arm and quickly spread to half of Shi Tianju's body. "What kind of fire is this? So evil, destroy it for me!" Shi Tianju shouted, directly dispelling the cold air, holding the blood-colored war spear in his right hand to extinguish the ice-blue flame. His hair was full of blood, his eyes were full of bloodthirsty light, and his face was murderous. Swish! The war spear tore through the void and came to Hong Chenny in the blink of an eye. A ball of earthy yellow flame rose up, with an indestructible meaning, like a shield made of divine gold, blocking the terrible spear. Dang! Shi Tianju was surprised. Zilla! Thunder flashed, and several thunder dragons roared. He looked closely and found that it was actually a flame in the shape of lightning. Boom! In the billowing smoke, Shi Tianju struggled to break free, with some scars on his body burned by thunder and fire. Staring at the gorgeous red figure, his eyes were full of deep shock. "Where did you learn this magic?" Shi Tianju found it hard to accept being beaten by Hong Chenny. With his realm advantage, he couldn't take advantage. Yes, Hong Chenny's mouth curved complacently. Sure enough, he is very strong now. With the blessing of the 3000 Flame Sutras, coupled with the unpredictable fire magic, even the blood demon who was so powerful in the central region in the past was suppressed by him at this moment. I, Hong Chenny, will embark on the road of invincibility from now on. Shi Tianju was silent for a while, and suddenly laughed chillingly. If I am not mistaken, you have gained a great fortune during the time you left the central region. If you continue, you will become an immortal again in the future. I am afraid that the old guys in the past will not be your opponents. What a pity, what a pity. Hong Chenny frowned, what a pity. What a pity that you are about to die in my hands. Shi Tianju laughed. As soon as the voice fell, a strange attraction broke out on his body. What am I? The one-eyed elder showed pain on his face, and his body melted at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then turned into wisps of blood and energy and sank into Shi Tianju's body. At the same time, people all over the country were screaming, and they turned into balls of blood containing cultivation energy and rushed across the sky. This horrible phenomenon occurred not only in Wei, but also in dozens of neighboring countries. Help! Someone save me! Woo! I don't want to die. This is God's wrath. Our retribution has come. A large amount of blood was pulled by a strange force, shuttled through the void and descended on Shi Tianju. The blood-colored evil spirits emerged from his body, like a wolf smoke rising, which was very visually shocking. Shi Tianju's realm, from the peak of the transformation of the spirit to perfection, and then began to attack the fusion realm. Crack! The bottleneck was broken. A breath that was 100 times stronger than the transformation of the spirit instantly spread in all directions. Shi Tianju's realm reached the initial stage of fusion. Above the vast sky, there was a blood-red giant with blood-red hair and murderous aura standing, his eyes flashing with terrifying coldness, and a blood-colored halo hanging behind his head, like a blood-red sun, bringing endless despair to the common people. Oh my god, what kind of monster is this? Wei Di and the others knelt on the ground, looking at the giant in horror. Feeling the destructive energy contained in the huge body, Hong Chenyi's face changed, and he said in a deep voice, "Your immortal blood body has been recast successfully." Shi Tianju stared at this tiny figure, and his voice was like a bell echoing in all directions. The immortal blood body is one of the top treasure bodies, how can it be so easy to recast successfully? But after my efforts, it has now recovered 70%. When I devour the entire wilderness state, I believe that the immortal blood body will be able to reach the complete body. The immortal blood body is Shi Tianju's greatest reliance. Back then, relying on this treasure body, he fought against the two powerful men of the righteous and evil ways. Not only could he burst out the power of destroying the world with a raise of his hand, but he also had an extremely exaggerated self-healing ability. The battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, it was the old monsters from the Holy Land who used the magic weapons to completely wipe out the immortal blood body. Hong Chenyi, I gave you a chance. It's all your own fault that you have come to this point. Kill. When this syllable came out of Shi Tianju's mouth, it seemed as if the whole world was about to collapse. A huge blood-colored palm slapped over, covering Hong Chenyi like the five-finger mountain. Boom! The terrifying sense of oppression was vast and boundless, making people want to surrender. Not good. Hong Chenyi had no way to avoid it. The mana in his body was boiling and agitated, and his whole body released a purple flame that soared into the sky. The blazing purple flame was extremely strange, and the power contained was so terrible that it could evaporate an entire ocean in an instant. Suddenly, the two sides erupted in a destructive collision, and the terrible energy airflow raged wildly. The sky of the Wei Kingdom was shattered, as if the end of the world had come. Countless people looked at it in shock, trembling with fear. Hong Chenyi gritted her teeth and used all her strength, one after another with fire attribute magical powers. Hoo! The bloody giant was trapped in the sea of fire, and his body was covered with burning scars. It's useless, don't resist needlessly. An indifferent and cold voice came out. A strange phenomenon occurred, countless scars were healing rapidly, and the bloody giant looked brand new, unscathed. Die! The bloody giant shouted violently and charged up his fists. The huge fist was wrapped in runes, like a meteorite falling from the sky, dragging blood-red light. In an instant, Hong Chenyi was shrouded in murderous intent and felt cold all over her body. Without thinking much, with his long hair fluttering, he made a hand gesture with his hands, and a golden flame condensed around his body. From a distance, it looks like the sun stretching across the sky, emitting a radiance that is impervious to all evil. Boom! A strong squeezing force struck instantly. The fist hit the golden flame mask, causing the surrounding void to twist and form an indescribable vortex. Click! Cracks appeared on the surface of the golden flame mask. Haha, let me break it. Shi Tianju sneered, and his bloody fist burst out with even more terrifying force. Bang! The mask is shattered. Hong Chenyi was knocked out of the sky by a punch and fell straight to the ground. There was a rumble and smoke and dust filled the sky. In the eyes of Emperor Wei and others, the scene just now was very shocking, like a sun hanging in the sky being knocked down with one punch. How terrible! Is this a fight between gods? Ahem. Blood flowed from the corners of Hong Chenyi's mouth, and he stood up from the pit with disheveled hair. With a grey face, he looked up at the giant figure in the sky, and felt a deep sense of powerlessness in his heart. You are no match for me after all. Shi Tianju looked down at the tiny red Chenny on the ground with a stern look, as if he was looking at an ant that was about to be trampled to death. In the fusion realm, he is 100 times stronger than before. With the help of this immortal blood body, Shi Tianju is confident that he is almost invincible in the same realm. What's more, dealing with a cultivator in the realm of gods. Blood demon, you biting mad dog. Hong Chenny spat out bloody spit and said angrily. Back then, he had gone through so much trouble to evade pursuit and ran all the way from the central region to this wild land, but he didn't expect that he would eventually fall into the hands of an old acquaintance. We monks pursue immortality. Since you are not willing to accompany me alive, then merge into my body after death and let me carry your will to complete this long journey to immortality. The majestic voice was like a bell, echoing constantly in the sky above the head. The bloody giant raised his palm again, and the palm flashed with fierce blood, burning with terrifying arrogance. Then, the palm shattered the void and shot straight down. Boom! Feeling the storm-like coercion covering his whole body, Hong Chenny's hair stood up all over his body. Perhaps out of the instinct of survival, or grasping the life-saving straw, he shouted those words without thinking. Master, save me. Chapter 18, C18 Show your divine power. Instantly, the bloody palm stopped in midair. Shi Tianju's eyes showed a look of surprise and doubt. Master, who did you become a disciple of? In his opinion, the existence that could make the once arrogant Hong Chenny willing to become a disciple must be a great figure who transcends the world. Combined with the magical powers displayed by Hong Chenny, Shi Tianju was even more afraid of the master who taught him the skills. If he really has a great background, Shi Tianju would have to think about it. Good disciple, you finally remembered your master. Yi Junlin threw away the melon seeds in his hand and flashed in front of Hong Chenny. His master is me. Huh, Shi Tianju's eyes showed doubt. Are you his master? He could see that Yi Junlin was just a mere incarnation of the spirit, and this realm was a lot in the vast central region, nothing special. Hong Chenny, I didn't expect you to fall to this level and actually worship a divine transformation cultivator as your master. What a shame, Shi Tianju sneered. Hong Chenny's face was red as blood, and he didn't know why he shouted that sentence just now. At the same time, Hong Chenny felt a little guilty. Although he hated Yi Junlin for always ordering him to work, he was his savior after all. Now he stood up to Shi Tianju, and he was afraid that he would suffer. Can I understand that you are looking down on me? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. How can an ant know how high the sky is? If it were the heyday, I could drown you with a spit. Shi Tianju sneered. As a fairy, he has a kind of pride in his heart, and he has a kind of contempt for the existence below the fairy. The reason why he can talk to Hong Chenny is because the other party was once a being of the same level as him, and there is a feeling of mutual appreciation. As for other people, Shi Tianju didn't take them seriously at all. Hong Chenny said anxiously, don't worry about me, leave here quickly. Yi Junlin pointed at the bloody figure in the sky and said lightly, what are you afraid of? Let me kill him for you. These words made Hong Chenny stunned. Arrogant. Shi Tianju laughed in anger and swung his giant palm to slap him hard. The wind and clouds changed color, and the void collapsed. The terrifying pressure was suffocating. It's over. Hong Chenny looked desperate. Ding, it is detected that the host is attacked by an enemy in the early stage of the fusion realm. Now it triggers the passive effect of getting stronger when encountering a strong enemy, and obtains the cultivation of the middle stage of the fusion realm. Close black lens bracket. A sweet system lowly voice came from my mind. Yi Junlin smiled crookedly, and released a very powerful cultivation fluctuation in his body, which was the energy breath of the middle stage of the fusion realm. Boom! The explosion was earth-shaking and deafening. What's going on? Shi Tianju's eyes flashed with shock, and his body retreated several feet as if struck by lightning, looking at the almost broken bloody palm in disbelief. Just now, an extremely domineering force came through, trying to smash the entire arm of his immortal blood body. You are not a god-transforming cultivator. You are a fusion realm cultivator. Shi Tianju was very surprised. What? The most shocked person was Hong Chenny. He really didn't expect that this silver-haired young man hid so deeply, pretending to be a god-transforming cultivator on the surface but actually a fusion realm master behind the scenes. This bastard, no wonder he always provoked me before, it turns out that he relied on the fusion realm cultivation. Fortunately, I didn't really turn against him at that time. Hong Chenny secretly rejoiced. At this time, in the shocked eyes of the crowd, the figure of the young man in black robe shot up into the sky like a comet, his silver-white hair flowing with a dazzling luster, his face was handsome, and his every move was filled with a breath of destruction. Is this the feeling of breaking through the fusion realm? It is indeed much more powerful than the transformation of the spirit. Yi Junlin felt that his whole body was transparent and he was about to be overwhelmed. Humph, what about the fusion realm? I will let you, a native, see what real power is. Shi Tianju shouted angrily. Then, he united his mind and body, and controlled his immortal blood body to launch a fierce attack on Yi Junlin. The blood-colored fists in the sky cut through the sky like a meteorite rain. The seal of the human king. The clear voice echoed between heaven and earth. Boom, behind Yi Junlin, a vast phantom that dominated the world emerged, as if the ancient god king stood above the 9 heavens. This mark with the breath of ancient vicissitudes was cast, and the surging magic power was like a flood that roared across the sky. Boom boom boom, the blood-colored giant was beaten to blood, and both arms were crushed by the mark, and the blood evaporated. Shi Tianju was stunned. The feeling of dominance was so overwhelming that even he, as a giant of the magic, couldn't help but tremble. Yi Junlin sneered. After the practice of the human king seal, it has reached the level of great success. How can its power be compared to the entry-level one? But even so, when he used the human king seal with all his strength, he couldn't kill Shi Tianju directly, which shows the power of the immortal blood body. Zilala. The next second, the blood-colored giant who had lost both hands, the broken limbs re-extended flesh and blood, and the 2 arms soon recovered. Shi Tianju roared. Did you see it? You can't kill me. What about this move? Yi Junlin was calm and raised his hand slowly, and his voice was deafening, Great Wild Prison Heaven Finger. It is worth mentioning, the proficiency of this magical power has reached perfection. Deep in the sky, a huge vortex of energy appeared, releasing an aura of despair that made people surrender. 1 finger can imprison heaven and earth. 2 fingers shatter mountains and rivers. 3 fingers to destroy living things. 4 fingers break the sky. In an instant, 4 giant golden fingers, like pillars reaching the sky, pressed forward with mighty power. Damn, what is this? Shi Tianju's expression changed drastically, and he looked at the 4 giant fingers with shocked eyes. He did not dare to neglect, mobilized all the strength of his body, raised his hand to control a winding river of blood to attack forcefully. Boom, the sea of blood boiled and roared, and was strangled by the fingers of the great desolate prisoner. Then, 4 fingers directly hit the bloody giant. Bang! The 100-foot-long body of the bloody giant was almost beaten to pieces, and Shi Tianju was exposed inside the body. At this time, his hair was disheveled, blood was dripping from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were filled with fear that was unforgettable, and he said in horror. Who the hell are you? Shi Tianju never expected that he would encounter such a terrifying monster as Yi Junlin in this small desert state. Even the immortal blood body that he was so proud of was almost destroyed in an instant. What a joke! Could it be that I haven't walked around outside for a long time, and the genius outside is already so powerful? Hong Chenyi's eyes widened in shock, and the shock in her heart could not be described in words. No wonder the other party was so confident. It turned out that he didn't take him seriously at all. If he turned against him directly, he would be easily suppressed. Thinking of this, Hong Chenyi became more and more scared. It seems that his intuition is still very accurate. At least you have to be obedient now. I am Yi Junlin, the master of Xuantian sect in Piaomiao Peak. Yi Junlin flicked his fingers, as if what he just did was an insignificant thing. Hear the words. Shi Tianju felt even more depressed inside. When he hid in Wangzhou, he had learned about the local sects, and naturally knew that Xuantian sect was among them. But, those are all small sects, how could such a being be in charge? This is completely unreasonable. Yi Junlin, I remember you. At this point, Shi Tianju had no choice but to admit defeat. This was the biggest humiliation in his life. Blood escape technique. Aha! In an instant, the blood all over Shi Tianju's body was burning, turning into a shocking bloodlight and crossing the void. No, he wants to escape. Hong Chenyi's face changed drastically. He understands Shi Tianju's personality, and with his character of retribution, his future comeback will pose a greater threat. Humph, you want to run away? You're just wishful thinking. At the same time, Yi Junlin used the Great Void technique and quickly blocked Shi Tianju's path. Shi Tianju was startled. This was the secret method of escape that he relied on to survive. How could he be caught up so quickly? Die! Yi Junlin's tone was cold, and he raised his hand to strike. No! Shi Tianju let out a shrill scream. If he really fell this time, there would be no possibility of resurrection. His heart was filled with extreme unwillingness and resentment. Bang! The whole person exploded in the air, and the soul was extinguished. The blood demon who was once so powerful in the central territory is now wiped out. Shi Tianju, he died like this. Hong Chenny murmured. After all, he was a true immortal level expert of his generation, and now his rise was cut off by Yi Junlin himself. This made Hong Chenny sigh in despair, as he witnessed it with his own eyes. Great, the devil has been eliminated by the immortal. Emperor Wei burst into tears. Wave after wave of cheers sounded. Everyone knelt on the ground and worshipped the silver-haired young man. Yi Junlin suddenly thought of something and said angrily, Tongzi, where is my reward? Be conscious and don't let me remind you. This system even claims to be professional. Even the rewards were not distributed in time. Ding, come on, let's give out rewards to the handsome host. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting. Chapter 19, C19 Mission Reward, Supreme Bone. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Supreme Bone. Do you want to bind it now? Closing square bracket. Supreme Bone, a mysterious bone with runes, which can bring the owner top-notch talent and physique, and the future must be destined to be the supreme. Yi Junlin's face was overjoyed, and he immediately said silently, bind. In an instant, his chest emitted a blazing light, and a shocking and terrifying aura burst out. The light shines on each other, and the scorching sun is as bright as the sun. In Yi Junlin's chest, there is a crystal-clear Taoist bone covered with countless mysterious patterns, which contains extremely mysterious energy. Supreme Bone. The combat power of those who possess it will soar significantly. Yi Junlin is very satisfied with this. After all, when fighting against the blood demon Shi Tianju, he saw the power of the other party's immortal blood body. You know, this is still a defective treasure body, which is enough to show how important the increase brought by the physique is. In this world, there are always people who are better than you, and there must be some monsters with more terrifying physiques than Shi Tianju. Yi Junlin believes that he has obtained the Supreme Bone, and he will be more confident in crushing them in the future. What's going on? Feeling the fluctuations coming from Yi Junlin, Hong Chenny couldn't help but feel a palpitation. Such a powerful aura, what did this guy do again? After witnessing the opponent's invincible posture just now, Hong Chenny's assessment of Yi Junlin's danger has risen to a new level. And the more this is the case, the more he thinks that Yi Junlin has a great opportunity, otherwise, how can such a talented monster be born in this barren and wild land? Damn it, my strength is still not enough, I must work harder to practice, and when I break through the fusion realm, I will be able to check and balance him. Hong Chenny gritted his teeth. Swish, Yi Junlin's figure slowly landed, his long silver-white hair fluttering, with a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. The Emperor of Wei even regarded it as a god descending to earth, worshipped and shouted, "Thank you, the Immortal, for saving the people of Wei. My Wei Kingdom will definitely record this incident in the history books so that future generations will remember the kindness of the Immortal." He was completely overwhelmed by the scene of the Immortals fighting, and had a deep sense of awe for Yi Junlin. Yi Junlin waved his hand, "Don't say these useless things. Being a good emperor is better than anything else. Treat your people well." The Emperor of Wei was shocked and said seriously, "I will remember the teachings of the Immortal." "Immortal, can I join the Xuantian sect in the future?" The little princess asked timidly, her voice was gentle and crisp, like a young bird's first cry. "Ling don't be rude." The Emperor of Wei turned around and glared, scolding. "Do you really think that you can enter the Immortal Gate whenever you want? You have to be so lucky." The little princess hurriedly lowered her head, her eyes full of panic. Yi Junlin smiled and secretly opened the Eye of Insight. Name, Zhao Linger. Gender, female. Cultivation, none. Talent, top-grade water spiritual root. Identity, Princess of Wei. She has a good chance to become an immortal. When Yi Junlin saw Zhao Linger with top-grade water spiritual root, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Spiritual roots are divided into waste, ordinary, low-grade, medium-grade, high-grade, top-grade, immortal, and holy. And Zhao Linger has top-grade water spiritual root, so her talent is extremely superior. Sir, do you mean that my Linger is also qualified to join the immortal sect?" Emperor Wei asked tentatively. "Well, if she has this intention, I can take her away by the way," Yi Junlin said seriously. He thought about it and threw it to the head of Tianxiang Peak. "Linger, why don't you thank the Sir?" Emperor Wei was excited and had the urge to cry. "The Zhao royal family has 2 practitioners, this may be a gift from heaven." "Linger thanks you, immortal." Zhao Linger was very happy, her face flushed. "Yes," Yi Junlin nodded. "Immortal, you saved the Wei Kingdom. Please show your gratitude and host a banquet for you on behalf of the people of the Wei Kingdom. Whatever. Afterwards, Yi Junlin was not in a hurry to leave, and chose to stay in the palace for a while, enjoying the top royal treatment. On the mountain where the clouds and mist rolled, Hong Chenyi exhaled a breath of turbid air, his eyes burst out with a red light that split the sky, and there were flame stripes around his body, which looked extremely magical. Finally, my injury has recovered. By the way, even the realm. The red-robed man stood up, his black hair fell to his waist like a waterfall, his skin was white and crystal clear, and the scarlet flame mark between his eyebrows was breathtaking. After the previous fight, plus some of his own insights, Hong Chenyi's cultivation broke through again, and now he has reached the peak of the transformation of the spirit. This speed, if placed in the ancient holy land of immortal cultivation, would also cause a great sensation. What a pity. When seeing Yi Junlin's unfathomable means, Hong Chenyi's originally somewhat relaxed mood suddenly disappeared. He still has a long way to go to catch up with the other party. Be patient, when I break through to the fusion realm, I will definitely return the humiliation I suffered before. Hong Chenyi said secretly. In his mind, the scene of the silver-haired young man with a face full of panic and begging for mercy to him appeared, and he couldn't help but raise a playful arc at the corner of his mouth. Haha, just thinking about it, I'm looking forward to it. Zhao Hong, come to see your master quickly. At this time, a familiar voice sounded in his ears. Hong Chenyi snorted in his heart, I gave you face. Then, the figure disappeared from the spot and reappeared in front of the palace gate. He smiled, bowed his hands and said, Master. In the main hall, Yi Junlin was lying on his side in a careless manner, with one hand supporting his head and the other holding a book written by a Wei literati, leisurely appreciating. This martial arts novel is quite interesting. It seems that the people here also like the plot of slap in the face and pretending to be cool. If I travel to this country, I guess I can make money by writing novels. Well, I will start with a book of Ma Po Kang Qian. I will definitely be able to make money. Popular all over the country, the author's name is Crazy Potato. Hear the words. Hong Chenyi looked weird, what nonsense is this guy talking about? Yo, you're here. Yi Junlin sat up straight, waved his hand, and there was a wooden basin in front of him. The hot water in the wooden basin was steaming. He stepped lightly on the wooden basin with his feet and ordered Hong Chenyi in a commanding tone. Why are you standing there? Why don't you start quickly? You. Hong Chenyi gritted her teeth, anger welling up in her heart. He wanted to show off his face, but his strength didn't allow it. Even people as strong as the blood demon were killed by this person, which shows how cruel he is. Think about it. Hong Chenyi finally chose to compromise. He took hard steps and slowly came to Yi Junlin. Kneel down and wash. Yi Junlin's tone left no room for doubt. Hong Chenyi's heart trembled, and the angry and helpless shame crawled all over her body like insects. I am the leader of the demon cult, and I have even aspired to become a true immortal. More than tens of millions of practitioners have died in my hands. Now, you actually asked me to kneel down and wash your feet. You actually. Hong Chenyi gritted her teeth tightly, and unyielding arrogance emerged from her heart. Just when he opened his mouth to argue, his eyes came into contact with Yi Junlin's indifferent gaze. Boom, the red leaves are like falling into an ice cellar. In a daze, he seemed to be facing an unparalleled supreme being who dominated the world. Why are you standing there stupidly? Come on, Yi Junlin urged impatiently. I wash. Hong Chenyi's psychological defense was broken, and she slowly knelt down on the ground. She went deep into the wooden basin with trembling hands to wash the feet of the young man in front of her. Good disciple, Yi Junlin nodded. Sample, fighting with labor and management. In front of the noble Chinese traveler, even if the dragon comes, he must be coiled obediently. Wait, this water is. Hong Chenyi noticed something was wrong, her breathing gradually became faster, and her heart seemed to be turbulent. Damn it, this is Tai boundless water. A mortal who drinks it can keep his appearance forever and live for 200 years. If a practitioner drinks it, it can wash away the impurities in the body, leaving the body spotless and flawless, and his cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. Even if it was a small bottle, it would be robbed like crazy in a place like the Central Territory. It was something that many monks could only come across. As a result, this thing was actually used for foot soaking. Hong Chenyi became more and more convinced that Yi Junlin must have had some kind of opportunity to obtain a huge amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Otherwise, how could he be so extravagant? Looking at the large basin full of Tai boundless water, he felt a little dizzy. Hong Chenyi's throat secretly made a swallowing gesture. If he drank it all, it would be of great benefit to him. Etc. This is foot-washing water. Realizing this, Hong Chenny woke up suddenly, feeling sick to her stomach at what she had just thought. Chapter 20. C20 Strange Posture. Yi Junline's mouth twitched a few times. What's that expression? Do you think my feet are smelly? Hong Chenny was a little embarrassed. No. Then, he endured the discomfort and washed Yi Junline's feet, with a strong sense of absurdity in his heart. Who would have thought that the leader of the fire-worshipping demon cult, who had fought his way out of the siege of the major forces in the central region, would now obediently rub people's feet? What a sin! Yi Junline narrowed his eyes slightly, and his expression emerged with comfort. This is the Tai Wuliang water rewarded by the system sign-in. Because there is too much, he simply uses it to soak his feet when he has nothing to do. Not to mention, it is quite comfortable with the technique of this cheap apprentice. The water is a little cold, heat it up. Oh, Hong Chenny said angrily. His hands in the water released heat energy, and the Tai Wuliang water in the wooden basin suddenly became boiling hot. Ah, so good. Yi Junline's pores were stretched, and he raised his head in extreme comfort, moaning. Hearing this strange cry, Hong Chenny felt ashamed for this man, rolled his eyes, and cursed in his heart, why don't you feel so good? Just then, a petite figure in a gorgeous skirt ran to the door excitedly. Zhao Linger was very happy, because under the guidance of Yi Junline during this period, she finally felt the flow of true energy in her body and entered the Qi training realm. Zhao Linger, who was innocent and naive, wanted to quickly convey this news to the immortal of Xuantian sect, hoping to hear his praise. Suddenly, Zhao Linger's footsteps stopped, her beautiful eyes were full of disbelief, and her small cherry lips opened into an O shape. Oh my god, what is this doing? From Zhao Linger's perspective, Hong Chenny's back was very eye-catching. At this moment, she was kneeling in front of Yi Junline, lowering her head and looking very hard. But Yi Junline looked very happy. This picture makes it hard not to think of something wrong. Zhao Linger instantly thought of something, and her pretty face was as red as fire. She didn't expect that this master and disciple had such a relationship behind the scenes. I'm so embarrassed. Zhao Linger covered her face and fled. This scene caused a huge impact on her young mind. I believe that even after many years, it will be vivid in her mind. Linger, why is she running? Yi Junline was very depressed. With his cultivation, he naturally noticed Zhao Linger, but he was immersed in the service of the leader of the demon cult, so he didn't bother to pay more attention. At this time, Yi Junline lowered his head and carefully looked at the face of this eldest disciple. The skin is so soft that it can be blown away, the eyebrows are long and soft, the beautiful and standard phoenix eyes, the nose is high and straight, and the bright red lips make the facial features very delicate. The whole face is so beautiful that it seems unreal. The scarlet flame mark on the forehead adds a bit of moving charm. With this look, can you believe that this is a man? Yi Junline sighed. Zhao Hong, how come you are a man? Your teacher feels sorry for you. Hong Chenny was very annoyed. A man can be killed but not humiliated. I have rubbed your feet obediently. Do you still want me to lose my life? However, due to the opponent's strength, he had to swallow his anger and silently lowered his head to rub the feet of the young man in front of him. He secretly said in his heart, you bastard, I can scare you to death if I take it out. Half an hour later, Yi Junline felt the sound transmission ring in his arms vibrating. It's the sect master who sent the news. Take out the sound transmission ring, and the ring transmits Shu Yunyan's excited and anxious voice. Junior brother Yi, return to the sect quickly to discuss countermeasures. Recently, something big has happened in the wasteland state. It is suspected that an ancient secret realm is about to be opened. If Xuantian sect can benefit from it, it will definitely prosper completely. Ancient secret realm, Yi Junline was a little surprised. Hong Chenny was even more shocked. Even with his vision, he dared not underestimate this ancient secret realm. It was a treasure land that could breed many cultivation resources, enough to allow grassroots cultivators to change their fate and step onto the road to immortality. To put it bluntly, this should be called the immortal secret realm. If he can seize a good opportunity from it, combined with the horror of the 3000 Flame Sutra, his cultivation will definitely break through faster. I didn't expect that this barren wasteland state also has such a good place. This is a blessing for the cultivators in the wasteland state. Yi Junline said with emotion. Hong Chenny sneered inwardly. Judging from his experience, the news of the emergence of this secret realm could not be concealed. I am afraid that the forces of the major states in the East region will come to share a piece of the pie. How can this impoverished and weak state stop the aggressive foreign cultivators? At that time, the local cultivators can only stare blankly. This world is based on strength. Wolves travel thousands of miles to eat meat, but dogs, they are only worthy of following behind to eat shit. Ding, a new sign-in task is released. The host will receive a very surprising reward if he completes the sign-in the Luotian secret realm. Closing square bracket. A system prompt sounded in Yi Junline's mind. What will it be this time? Ding, hee hee, I won't tell you. Closing square bracket. Naughty. Yi Junline curled his lips. Since there is a sign-in task, he will take a look at the Luotian secret realm, hoping to get a more novel reward. Then, after finishing his foot bath, Yi Junline called Zhao Linger and prepared to leave Wei. Say goodbye to your father. He may rarely come back in the future. Inside the palace, Yi Junline whispered to the little girl. Zhao Linger looked at her father, who was gray-haired and a little old, and her heart could not help but clench. She remembered the childhood scene when she rode on her father's neck. At that time, her father was far from looking as old as he is now. Father, Linger should stay with you, Zhao Linger said in a trembling voice. Nonsense. The Emperor of Wei was so angry that he blew his beard and glared, your father is not going to die. Besides, it is a great thing for you to join the Xuantian sect. How many people dream of it? You must cherish this opportunity and don't delay your future. Oh, Zhao Linger had to nod after saying that. The Emperor of Wei bowed to Yi Junline and said hopefully, My lord, I will remember your teachings, be considerate of the people and be a good emperor. I hope you can take good care of my daughter. Yi Junline waved his hand. Everyone has their own destiny. She will not be wronged if she joins Xuantian sect, but how far she can go depends on herself. My lord is right. Just like that, Zhao Linger stepped on the cloud of Yi Junline's spell, and as the cloud slowly rose, she waved goodbye with red eyes. Father, I will come back to see you when I am free. The Emperor of Wei smiled with relief, then his face became serious, and he led all the ministers to kneel on the ground, shouting, Farewell, Lord. Farewell, Lord. The shouts were like rolling waves, echoing over the sky in the palace. Seeing that the state of Wei was getting farther and farther away from her, Zhao Linger wiped away her tears and looked at the master and apprentice carefully. Especially when her eyes swept towards Hong Chenny, her beautiful face and cold temperament made Zhao Linger sigh. Sister Hong is so beautiful, but she doesn't like to talk. Suddenly, she thought of the scene she saw at that time, and two blushes appeared on her pretty face, and she lowered her head silently. Hong Chenny noticed the girl's strangeness, and her eyes showed a trace of doubt, but she was too lazy to ask more. It's really inexplicable, King Zhou, Yuhuaman. The Juyong Venerable had his hands behind his back, and his whole body was filled with hazy golden mist. His majestic voice came out in a low voice. According to the spies, the Fengli sect where your father is has been destroyed. It was the master of the Piaomiao peak of the Xuantian sect who did it. Boom! The handsome young man wearing a robe with a sun pattern fell into a rage, with veins protruding on his forehead, his eyes shot out murderous aura, and his whole body released a terrifying power. The most worrying thing has happened, his father has already died. Chen Xiao gnashed his teeth and said hatefully, What realm is this person in? Zhuyong Zun said. According to rumors from the outside world, he is a newly promoted Yuanying cultivator in Wangzhou. Yuanying. Chen Xiao laughed in anger, I kill Yuanying like killing a chicken.